Assemble the accused. Bear witness to their trials. The time of the Inquisition is now at hand. Putting pop culture to the rack, the Inquisition calls to account the events of the week, rooting out heresy wherever it is found. I am Grand Inquisitor Doomcock, the future ruler of Earth, and joining me for tonight's torture is Nerdrotic Channel's Grand Inquisitor Gary Beekler. Gary, hello, welcome. How are you doing tonight, and are you in a good mood or in a mean mood?
I'm in a good mean mood.
I think that's good.
Yes,
and mean.
Because nobody expects the Mannish Inquisition.
The Mannish Inquisition. I like that. That's good.
That's right.
Oh,
Came up with that one on my own today at the gym. Yeah. I do my best thinking in the gym and somewhere else. And I was like, oh, write it down. Mannish Inquisition.
Oh, God, the look on your face is like... I don't know. It's like something I can't remember what it is, but it's fucking great. That's just great. Well, the Mannish Inquisition. I love it. Well, yes, we have a lot of stuff tonight, Gary. And you know what? You are the ringleader of tonight's torture. So I turn it over to you, and we will go where you lead, my friend.
Yeah. Okay. So we'll bring up the one that you and I and others hit heavy yesterday, and this is a crime against pop culture. What was done here? Now, there's a crime on my part. I wasn't super familiar with this guy, to be honest with you. I have,
me either.
For a long time, I was reading the comic books and not the real books with words in them. But this thing. We got to talk about our friend Robert Meyer Burnett. It got him to cuss on his live stream multiple times. He was pretty upset, and he was channeling his inner Doomcock. Even his own chat was saying that yesterday. And this is now Walter Mosley is a crime novelist, I suppose. He wrote Devil in a Blue Dress, and he was in the Star Trek Discovery writers' room. And I got to say, that was probably a plus. That was probably the first plus that show ever had.
Not for him. I mean, not for him. He may have actually realized, Gary, I just thought this. I mean, maybe I'm cynical. I mean, I'm sure he quit for the reasons he said, but it may have also been in the back of his mind that, oh my God, this is my perfect way out of this mess. Once he got in there and saw what it was, he may have been like, oh, good luck with all that.
I 100% agree with you. After I read the response, I'm kind of working on another video for the response and everything. And that's the conclusion I came to, that he found an excuse to get the hell out of there as fast as he could, because he left without a word. He walked out, didn't call anybody, just left. And while it was certainly on Michelle Paradise and Alex Kurtzman to try to call him back and say, hey, what happened, man? They didn't, and he didn't call them. And it kind of reminds me when I walked out of Tesla, I just kind of left. I mean, they wanted to call me and have me sign papers and stuff. I'm like, no, I'm gone. I'm gone. I don't work for you. I'm not signing shite. I'm done. So they just let the dude walk.
Yep. I have been in a similar situation when I was undercover at a company, pretending to work for them, and then I was deeply offended by something, and I just fucking went outside, and my yells of fury could be heard echoing off the building walls, and then they were like, we need to talk to you. It's like, no, you don't. So anyway, that was it.
We're done talking, and that's good that you go undercover. Know thy enemy.
I used to, under civilian guise. Way before.
So this is a big deal because not often does somebody write an op-ed and it really continues the conversation from Dave Chappelle in a lot of ways,
right?
And it really shows. It also sheds a light on what we all knew about Star Trek Discovery. It looks like it has just been turmoil since day one. And it's probably impossible to make good television when you have so much turmoil behind the scenes. Plus, your writers Your writers might feel safe, but they don't feel comfortable to write or create. And I bet you there is a lot of writers who are secretly cheering this guy in Hollywood, just going, yes, because that's what I bet. I'm betting a lot of writers' rooms these days are what he said. What did he call it? The McCarthyism of silent condemnation.
Yeah, I mean, you can tell the guy is a writer, no doubt about it.
Yes, he put a lot of spice into that, and that was towards the end here. That was a really, there's a couple of good things he said, but like, yeah, towards the end,
I am the N-word in the writer's room.
Yeah, that was
I
awesome.
am the one who knocks the N-word.
That's what let's not accept the McCarthyism of secret condemnation. Instead, let's delve a little deeper, limiting the power that can be exerted over our citizens, their attempts to express their hearts and horrors and their desire to speak their truths. Only this can open the dialogue of change. Now, yesterday, Doomcock, I was talking to Quarter Black Garrett from the Steven Crowder Show, and he spoke about the writer's room being, I've never personally been in one. Maybe you are familiar with it, but he said that basically it's a place where anything goes. You can be as creative as you want. No idea is bad. We throw everything out there, and then either people accept it or not. But you're free to be creative, say whatever you want, be as funny as you want. Especially when you're dealing with a comedy show, you have to go there every time, and when you're limited creatively from the get-go because somebody is watching over you and talking to some overlord on the phone that's not Doomcock, that must make for a really paranoid environment. And I've worked in those. I'm sure some of you in the chat have worked in those, and it's the worst possible situation to be in. And I usually leave those like immediately. There's no amount of money that makes that okay for me personally. But it certainly sheds a light on what's going on and what I've heard. And I mentioned in my video what I've heard from people, and I've shared some of it and I haven't, but none of it's been really good. I haven't heard somebody go, it was the best experience of my life.
No, that nobody is saying that. Those words have not been uttered in conjunction with Star Trek Disgracery. I'm just telling you right now.
No, and this season's probably going to be a hot mess like the other ones. Whenever we get it, and another writer is gone, like right on time. Somebody leaves. It's funny at this point.
It only took a few weeks, just a few weeks. That guy was there, and it was like, good luck with all that. He just had to hit that door and keep going. And I don't blame him. I mean, this is where good writing goes to die and be sodomized. I mean, it really is. It's not just writing doesn't just die there. It gets violated. The very idea of writing is obscene. It's just terrible.
When it's equated to that show. Yes. So then CBS responded. They were kind of. I mean, CBS will respond, and according to Midnight's Edge, they will use the Hollywood Reporter to do it.
Right.
And I don't know if they use their regular guy. I know they mentioned in their video they used a regular person. I forgot what the name was, but the response was just like, "Hey, good luck. I hope you have a really good time," and and that's it.
Well, they tried to take a sanctimonious stand where they said, "We do not tolerate the N-word," or something along those lines. It was basically unremarkable boilerplate corporate neutral crap, trying to turn this vice into a virtue, and it was kind of sad.
We are committed to support a workplace where employees feel free to express concerns and where they feel comfortable performing their best work. Well, okay, so we want to make this a safe space, and it's certainly you want to get along with everybody. I'm guessing, this is just my speculation, you had a real writer there, and he was probably making all the other ones look really, really bad.
Oh, yeah.
And he had to go immediately. We couldn't have that. And, I pointed out my video, two of the writers, I don't know all of the writers' room, that have been there since the very beginning, and they've survived all of this. So I don't know. I mean, you can come to your own conclusions. I certainly have come to mine. And Star Trek Discovery sucks. We know why. And it's just watching a dumpster fire burn continuously. The thing is, with Star Wars fans who aren't familiar with the Star Trek stuff, is, we Star Trek fans are going through the same exact thing you are. They're assassinating our favorite characters. They're assassinating our mythology, and they're doing it with glee. That's why when Taika Waititi, this was not a joke, but when he said the now infamous, "I will, ruin your mythos in a minute, baby," that's exactly how Alex Kurtzman and Michelle Paradise and their ilk feel as well. They don't care. They simply don't care. And while, this is proof the world is not a fair place, these are the last people who should be in charge of Star Trek. And, CBS will understand this in time, that if they had maybe stuck with Brian Fuller or stuck with people who were felt more passionate about Star Trek and a little more empathetic towards the fans, that they would have a franchise that would be successful throughout the years. The thing is, they, shot for the moon. They wanted this to be Star Wars. But the thing is, the experiment was done, Doomcock. I mean, it wasn't Star Wars from the movies. That failed. You should have changed your template. You should have changed, put your own vision on it. Like, Alex Kurtzman doesn't have his own vision, though. So what he did, he uses JJ's aesthetic and his writing, and that's not original. So they just tried it again. Like, it's going to work better in television. I don't understand the logic, but the damage is done at this point. It's so far gone that I don't know if there's recovering from this.
There's no recovering from it. Look, what they really wanted was Game of Thrones in space. That's why we have the Klingork tits. That's why we have the beheaded, baby. That's why we have the F-bomb. It's just a pathetic, limp, half-assed Game of Thrones stab at the dark. They didn't understand that Game of Thrones did succeed previously before they mangled it in season 8, but it succeeded when it succeeded because of the characters, because of the depth of the writing, the depth of the characterization, and also the depth of the lore for those of you who read the books. So, this idea that you can half-ass that shit and slap it together, just throw in a little sex, throw in some violence and some stupidity and call it a show, you're crazy. You're crazy. And nobody on that fucking show knows anything about Star Trek. I mean, you talked about, the various qualifications, but really, even just hiring people that knew what the fuck was going on with Star Trek, that had some knowledge of it, would have at least benefited the show. If you just stayed in bounds and did a mediocre piece of shit, like Voyager style shit, or Enterprise style shit, some lame ass, middle of the road, tired Star Trek, it would not have had the same violent anger against it that this shit does. You could have really comfortably been corporately mediocre and done okay. You really could have, just because of the novelty. And it would have taken them fans years to realize, yeah, this is pretty fucking stale. I mean, they still would have bought in, but not now. This shit, they were trying to get everyone but Star Trek fans. They thought most of the world isn't Star Trek fans. Let's get most of the world. Doesn't really work that way, you stupid shits. So
Freaking
there we
morons. Are. That's why, and your capital is built based on Star Trek fans. And what you could have done is kind of what the Orville's doing. What the Venture Brothers did is you start out, you've got your basic Star Trek template. You start out there, and if you're not sure, you can start, like you said, start out boring and then evolve from there. Get the right people, and listen, good writers will write well, no matter what template is, and you can evolve from there. But they wanted to, again, shoot for the moon. And listen, Star Trek Picard fans, I want to completely discourage you right now. I watched Titans season 2, episode 1. What's the connection? Well, Titans is basically Star Trek Discovery superheroes. It's the Star Trek Discovery of superhero shows. It was so bad I didn't want to review it. It undid everything from the first season by 3/4 of the way through the episode. The big bad guy they were building up with got dispatched like that, and they were on to the next thing. The big bad guy looked terrible. I mean, some of the worst CGI I've ever seen, some of the worst writing. They're dropping F-bombs. I'm like, are you like, what do you want? Who do you want to watch this show? I don't understand, but it's Akiva Goldsman wrote the episode. And
what else has he worked on?
Batman and Robin.
And Star Trek Discovery.
The Transformers, Lost in Space. Yeah, just everything.
He's one of the worst pieces of shit in Hollywood. Before Jar Jar Abrams himself, he was my cinematic antichrist. But then I realized that he was a false prophet, and in fact, it was Jar Jar Abrams all along who was the cinematic antichrist. Akiva Goldsman is just his bridesmaid of evil, carrying his train and holding his bouquet of dead roses. That's what it is.
Letting the writer of Batman and Robin anywhere near DC superheroes is crazy. And like, listen, I don't care what, I guess he wrote A Beautiful Mind, or listen, a drama writer can't write genre. And that's another thing Star Trek Discovery has been trying to do, is get, soap opera writers to write. And you pointed that out, right? Star Trek Discovery. And it's just awful. So that's where we're at with Star Trek Discovery. More turmoil behind the scenes, and they tried to counteract it right afterwards with an article about some politician being inspired by Star Trek. That article came out right after, and it's typical CBS. This is what they do. They play their little information wars, trying to counteract any bad news because they're trying to survive the streaming wars. To what end? I don't know. CBS All Access doesn't stand a chance in hell against Netflix and Disney Plus and Amazon. But back to the bad news about the Walter Mosley thing is I think it really exposes the new culture in Hollywood. I think there was a time when the writer's room was sacred. Like, you could say anything you want and nobody would rat you out to HR. Maybe HR is a new thing in Hollywood. I know a lot of places didn't have an HR. Maybe it's a new thing in Hollywood, and in some cases it's definitely necessary. This one is not. This one was clearly used by a coward who wanted to get rid of somebody, in my opinion. And that's why I think there's a lot of people who are watching, who are writers, watching this play out and secretly applauding, because now you're not safe to create whatever you want, and that's the end. Hollywood is not going to survive on 75% creativity or 50% creativity. If you can't go all in, of course you have your own personal lines and the rules on television, but when you're putting that block on yourself, you're not going to do your best work. And it's clearly, it's clear in Star Trek Discovery, but this is going to be a problem for a lot of writers going out. We're already seeing, why do so many movies suck now? Well, it's because writers they're writing in fear right now. They're all in fear of, they can't write complex characters because they're afraid of being called an istophobe. I've said it before, and it's clear as hell now.
Yeah. Absolutely. I'm not convinced that writers' rooms were ever the paradise that they're making them out to be, because there's always politics. There's always, people who are, have bigger mouths and just spew out crap. I've never liked writers' rooms. I don't fucking work that way. Basically, if you want a good script, just go away, leave me alone, and I'll bring it to you. That's basically it. And if you are you competing with some jackass that doesn't actually have any structure to his thoughts and just spews out shit just to quote brainstorm, I don't need that shit. I actually have good sense, so I've kind of contempt for that process. But I have to say that I understand that a lot. That's how it's done. That's why I don't seek to do that sort of thing, because I actually consider my words before I speak them. I don't just spew out shit. That's why I'm slow on videos, Gary. But I think that that the writers these days are either willing woke participants or, like you said, they are terrified to step out of the line of orthodoxy. And if the Star Trek Discovery writers' room is this toxic, that you have people lying in wait, just ready to squeal, then yeah, you're never going to get anything done. But I'm not convinced they've ever rewritten a goddamn thing except for reshoots. I think everything is pretty much a disjointed first draft that's slapped together and just thrown out there on the screen without any kind of reflection or revision or supervision by anyone knowledgeable on staff that actually can say this sucks. Nobody says this sucks, and I'm convinced that the writers are like the cast of Lost. They do not talk to each other. They never talk to each other. And so when some idiot writes some bullshit in there about, sonar in space and all this shit, and then another writer has written about, they can go ahead and detect Klingorks with this weird little bullshit algorithm thing that meant they could detect Klingorks all along because they detected a problem with their cloaking technology. Well, if you've detected a problem in their cloaking technology, that means you've detected the cloak. Remember?
Yes.
Remember when they're warping away? They've been like, okay, we've got 2 hours to crack this problem, people. Let's go. The problem that you couldn't crack in the 1 year of the war or whatever, that problem in 2 hours. And then they do. And then they say, okay, we've got the solution. We've got the solution. And then the helmsman says, sir, we've detected a cloaked Klingork vessel in orbit over Pahu.
Yeah.
And it's like, so you can detect them. You stupid fucks. You stupid fucks. And that is not bad science fiction. That is just plain, you can't think so fucking good. Just straight up, you can't fucking think.
They can't keep track of their own stuff. And you're right. It's disjointed. And it's because they're copying so much. I don't know if he's supposed to. Like Robert Meyer Burnett, was a wealth of information this week. It's stuff I didn't know. Maybe people do this. It was news to me. So the mycelium network wasn't supposed to be a warp drive. It wasn't supposed to be used for travel. It was supposed to be used. It was going to be a form of agenesis. It was a form of terraforming planets. That was the original concept. That was Brian Fuller's concept, and they repurposed it into the Spore drive. So that tells you
magically trip along.
Oh God! So that tells you the difference between Brian Fuller and Alex Kurtzman. And I guess Brian Fuller had mapped out kind of the season, but hadn't written full episodes. They just kibed off of him for the entire season, and then they're still ripping off, in my opinion, Brian Fuller. 2 seasons into Discovery, and for the concept of Picard, for parts of the concept of Picard, it's
right. Absolutely. Yeah. But the thing about Brian Fuller is, I'll just have to say, his idea is it's only moderately less fucking stupid than the, teleporting all over the world on pixie dust and mushrooms, because the mycelial network exists on Earth. It is not out in the fucking space. There are no goddamn mushroom networks in space. Space is hostile to organic life. There's hard radiation out there. There's temperature differences. It is not spreading out across the entire universe. If you look at the mycelial network, if you look it up, the mycelial web, you see it. You see it. It's not invisible. It's not ethereal. It's like a net of roots. So how do you fly through space going through it would be like, we'd basically be living, our galaxy would be a fucking tofu cube. Do you understand? It's just so fucking stupid. It's so stupid. There's no mycelial network out there. How the hell would it spread, Gary? I was working on a video and I had to stop because it was too depressing, but I was actually doing analysis of that. I need to get back on that. God damn it.
Because it was supposed to exist in another space, another part of space time. And then there was a civilization living in there, and they made a big deal about it was killing people of the civilization, and then they stopped, and then they went back into the mycelium network and started killing people in the civilization. They completely forgot the plot on that one.
There's like she's trying to kill Tilly, or what was it? Like turning hostile. They bring Tilly in because there's somebody that's destroying our entire universe on foot.
Yeah,
Really? There was
yeah,
one guy on foot that was
on
basically
foot.
going ew ew with an axe or something, attacking mushrooms, and it's like, you're destroying our universe. No, you're not even fucking destroying Amarillo.
No,
Or
no.
Waco, some little fucking podunk. You're not even destroying Lubbock, dude. You can't even run that far. What the fuck?
And they brought his boyfriend back in a
he's a mushroom. He's a mushroom, dude. He's a fucking literal pod person. It's just insane.
So stupid. There's people who haven't watched the show going, what are these guys talking about? It's an actual plot of a Star Trek show.
This is not joking, people. We're not joking. Watch my fucking videos. Watch Gary's videos. I mean, I've got like tons of Star Trek before I gave up in despair, but I need to get back on that final episode. I need to. Before Picard comes out, I need to remind people just how shitty this is.
I think that'd be good, like Christmas video.
Yeah, I think so.
Right before then. Yeah. Oh, and there's more to go over. So we want to sentence Alex Kurtzman and Michelle Paradise for overseeing such a toxic culture for 3 years that we've been talking about, but they've been telling us everything is wine and roses behind the scenes, and we're just full of it, and everything is just fine. And these are big Star Trek fans, and they just want to make good Star Trek. They don't. Alex Kurtzman wants a franchise that makes money. Whether it's good or not matters not to him at all. His aspiration, his ambition is to have a franchise and to be kind of a bigwig in Hollywood. And maybe he is, maybe to the bottom line bankers that he is, but to the fans, he's a joke. He's a joke. Even the ones who like Star Trek Discovery can't say that he is some, modern visionary. I've never heard that. I've just never heard it. So
no, God, maybe just because they're not talking to us. Because surely they are stupid enough to say shit like that, I would imagine. Honestly,
some people like this show, but there's no accounting for taste. There really isn't. So, the usual trip back to the rack and then the wheel for Michelle and Alex. We got to include Michelle on this one.
I think they ought to be sentenced to the Clockwork Orange theater, where they have to sit with their eyes like held open with the Clockwork Orange devices and watch their own goddamn shit on let's make it 100 loops of season 1 and season 2.
That's good.
Let's just
short tracks. Got to include the short tracks.
Oh, and the short tracks. That's right. The short tracks. Absolutely. They have to watch those.
So I guess we're going to get some short tracks by the end of the year. Yeah, that's why they're shooting them, because they need something for this year,
because they don't have anything.
They don't have anything. And football is probably going to save them for now. You wonder when the sports ball is going to wise up and make their own streaming service, unless they don't make that much money. And that's what I'm guessing. See, the sports ball makes a lot of money off advertising. So I'm wondering, CBS All Access has advertising. They have an advertising tier. You have to watch ads. You want to pay extra to not watch ads on that paywall. By the way, you could still watch most of all the good Star Trek on Netflix.
Right.
And as much as we criticize Netflix, and they are worthy of they put on they did put on the Dave Chappelle special.
That's right. And that right there is redemption in my eyes. I mean, that right there is enough of an excuse to watch them. And they have a number of good shows. They've got Dark on right now, which is, they got 2 seasons of Dark, which is actually a pretty damn good show.
It is.
They've got an amusing little show, comedians in cars getting coffee with Jerry Seinfeld, interviewing different comedians. That's kind of fun. A bunch of actually pretty decent shows, and all of Star Trek is on there. So what's not to like?
It's on to like, really?
Yeah. The Dark Crystal, I haven't been able to watch that yet, but people are telling me, I've heard different things. I've heard that it's, violating the canon. I've heard that it's very faithful to canon. I don't know what the truth is, but
I'd have to watch the movie again. I've listened to the soundtrack more than I watched the movie. So I watched a couple episodes, and it's beautifully done. It's absolutely beautifully done. The people behind it are creative geniuses, the Jim Henson group, everybody. Hats off to it. It looked like the movie and everything. The downside is I'm 50 and it's just not made for me. I'm just like, I like fantasy. I mean, like, I'm a huge fantasy fan. Like, that's kind of my main thing is fantasy, but my fantasy has limits. I'm not really into the pixie fairy dust. I'm more into the orc slaying.
Yeah, I mean, that's
fantasy.
why I haven't quite yet taken the plunge, because they look awful cute. And
it does. And it doesn't mean it's bad though. I mean, it just because I don't, I'm not saying, I'm saying I'm not into it, but it's not bad. It's like really well done quality stuff.
Yeah.
And if you guys watch it a bunch, we're probably going to get Farscape. We read the article last week, and that, I don't know how that flew under the radar, but at Comic-Con they said, no, we're working on a Farscape TV show. We're working on it. So somebody's got to pick it up. I'm guessing what they were trying to say is if you support us on Netflix will probably give us Farscape. And it looks like Netflix might be abandoning their binge model, Doomcock. They're going to start abandoning it on some shows. And I'm guessing they'll fully abandon it in a couple of years because it's unsustainable. We've talked about it a bunch.
Yeah. And I don't know why Amazon is not paying attention. I don't understand.
No,
I really want them to fix this on The Expanse.
The only thing hopeful is, has anybody, I haven't heard official word. I've just heard people in the chat say it. The only thing encouraging that I saw, because I rewatched the trailer again today, is the trailer at the end says that the first episode premieres on 12/13. It's because it says New Terra. That's the name of the first episode. It doesn't say season drops on 12/13. It says first episode. So maybe there's hope there. Maybe there's hope.
I don't know, because look, I've bitched about it to high heaven.
And nobody's responded. Yeah.
And nobody said anything. If they had said to me, if they were going to do it weekly, then they would have said, Doomcock, chill out. It is coming out weekly. That would have been the perfect way to go ahead and get word out to fans. But they're not said that. Therefore,
and they've responded to you. So, I mean, they would have. They've responded to you before. I mean, they've never responded.
I mean,
to me,
they have, but they have not said a word about this, and so I guess that I'm just shit out of luck. But I mean, I want it for the show. I want it for the show. I want it for the good of the show, and because that way we can make sure that they're very successful, and that they grow, and that we continue to get excellent Expanse through the entire run of the show. That's what I want. I don't want it to peter out. I don't want it to lose momentum. I want Amazon to thrive and prosper, and this show to go on through to season 9, 10, whatever it's going to be.
Agreed.
Many other 9 books that they're going to adapt. I want all of them.
Yeah. And we won't get it if they drop them all at once.
I'm worried about it, because how are they going to grow? In a week,
they're not.
There will be a flurry of activity. They'll get one review out of each of us, maybe, and that's it.
How can you have viewing parties? How do you build I hate to use this term, but a community around your show? Game of Thrones would have never made it if it was dropped all at once. The reason there's Expanse fans now is because it was released weekly. But the thing is, you're just going to maintain the fans you have now, which is not enough. I've said it. I said it when it got canceled. There's not enough. We need to have more. So we've been doing our part. So I wish if this is a call out now, you can respond to Doomcock, because I know they don't like me. So if you would respond to Doomcock and let us know, like, what's your logic behind it? You're very open with the fans. Maintain that open relationship. Many of us want to know if you're going to be weekly or not. I think it would be good to just simply say yes or no.
Yeah. I have I just thought of a perfect analogy. I think I may even make a video about this, because I think it might actually strike home. With the binging versus the weekly model, I would say to the Expanse, we don't want an orgy We want a relationship.
Ah, there you go.
And basically, binging everything that you've got is like an orgy. Whereas if we go ahead and go steady for months, it's a relationship. And that is what we're looking for. That's what we're asking for.
That's it.
I'm going to make a video about that. I think it's important.
We want to go steady. We don't want some one night stand. We really don't. We got a couple, so we'll get some super chats, and we'll get to our next subject. Oh, wow. That jumped on me. Michelle P for $1.99. Throw Ruin Johnson into a brazen bowl. Thank you. We will, Michelle. We will. And we will get to REEEEan Johnson. Mike, thank you, Michelle P. It's good to see you. Michael Maloney for $5. Gretel and Hansel. We're being eaten alive. Eating alive takes on a new meaning. Michael Malone. Yes, there's going to be a movie called Gretel and Hansel. Because we can't have
Gretel and Hansel. Well, isn't that? I feel so much better about our civilization now. It's really, that's what was really wrong with everything, was that it was Hansel and Gretel. And well, by gosh, now I feel like we finally cleared a hurdle. I feel like we're really, really have made progress now. And I'm so excited to be a part of this civilization.
Doomcock, it's stunning and brave.
It is. It's so long overdue. People, I want to talk to you from the heart. Really, I want you to search your souls and try to find the hidden patriarchal attitudes that are lurking within. Try to dispel those. Try to open your hearts and open your minds to a better way of dealing with women as the superiors that they were always meant to be. And this idea you have in your mind of putting things inside them, that's practically rape. So let's stop that. And let's stop looking at women as objects and look at them as stone busts in a museum. I think that's the proper attitude, with reverence, and kneel before them before you back away. Back to you, Gary.
Why, thank you. Welcome to Inquisition on NPR.
That's right.
Next,
we're going to have an NPR edition of the Inquisition. Where isn't there a better way to respond to Star Trek Discovery and Star Wars than just with anger? Why can't we talk about our differences with them?
We should just understand that it's art, and art cannot be judged in any way, shape, or form. It's what the creator creates. And we don't want to discuss these things or have theories about it, because that might hurt somebody's feelings who created the show. So,
how can we ever expect writers to be free when we judge their work?
We can't. Especially, how can we expect writers to feel safe? Because words might scare them, especially in the writer's room. And
that's right. I mean, I can't really evaluate Alex Kurtzman's writing because I've never walked in his shoes. I don't know what it's like to be a talentless piece of shit that can't write a goddamn thing that makes any sense, can't string together thoughts, can't really barely string together syllables in a pattern that any way resembles the English language. So he's really doing the very best he can. He's, well, special.
So special. And very he starts special. All of his sentences with and I can't even do that. And even if I tried, and it would hurt. But Alex Kurtzman is a product of nepotism. And, it's my fault. I didn't know anybody in Hollywood, but I wouldn't want his job. Thank you. Welcome to NPR. 2 pounds retracted probably after that NPR segment, but we could talk about Pete's sweaty balls. No. Alan Massey for $10 in honor of its birthday. The first Star Trek episode, I saw A Balance of Terror. It came on after the original Godzilla movie with Raymond Burr dubbed in.
Sweet.
I remember
Balance
watching-
of Terror is absolutely one of my favorites. I don't know if you've even heard it, Gary, but I've done like a full-length commentary on the episode where you sync it up and then you're watching it with me and I share my insights into the thing and the production history and just comment on the whole thing. I love that episode. Absolutely stellar.
I gotta find a way I could sync that up at the gym, but it's on my phone. I'll just do it while I'm working in my office. I'll watch it. I'll definitely watch it. Yeah, I'm a member. Hey, I'm a
I
legionnaire.
know you are.
I'm a legionnaire, yo.
You are.
Thank you, Alan Massey, for the $10 and your good taste in television. Thankfully, there's plenty of good Star Trek to watch. Somebody chimed in on a live stream a couple of days ago and said Star Trek Discovery is better than Voyager. No, no,
No, it's not.
no. I mean, like 7 of 9. I mean, if you just want to look at it at the most basic level, 7 of 9. But no, I don't hate Voyager. It got meandering and it was like ultimate Star Trek with a stick up its butt, but I liked it.
It was lame largely. I mean, there was some good episodes, of course, but it's fairly lame. But I tell you, there's a difference between lame and nonsensical to the point of actual clinical. I shouldn't even use the word. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
it's clinically R-worded. It's really effing R-worded, Gary. It's R.
R-worded.
It's so fucking hard. I sound like a pirate evaluating.
It's R-worded.
It's R. Yeah.
John Weasley passed away, says Michael Maloney, for $2.
John Weasley?
I'm not. Is it like who's John Weasley? Fresh Prince of Bel-Air actor. Okay, gotcha. Like he was 72. Okay, well, rest in peace, John Weasley. You lived a good old life. You got to star in a TV show. And yeah, sorry you passed. Don't like to see anybody dying, even people I don't like. Just for karma reason. Big red bullfrog for $2. Scaphism for STD. Yeah, I mean, like we're waiting for the 3rd season though. But yeah, after what they did to Mr. Mosley, was probably done to him on day 1. I think that's what Doomcock was alluding to. And he probably stayed there 3 weeks longer than he wanted to. Couldn't wait to get out the door. Probably took one foot in there. And this is like, he's working on another show, by the way, that's apparently good. Some people like it. I have never seen it. It's called Snowfall. And, that sounds like at the very least a quality show, as opposed to the gimmick, the pyramid scheme, the scam that is Star Trek Discovery. And just watch the Orville. Yeah, you got to go behind a paywall now, but you know what? So be it. Listen, paywalls are paywalls. I've never had a problem with the paywall. Star Trek Discovery. Listen, it's a scam because the damn show is lame, and it would do better on free TV. It would. More people would watch. It would probably get numbers to where it wouldn't be able to pay for itself.
If they actually released it out in the real world, however, it would die a horrible death because its ratings would be abominable and they'd be public, and so their secret shame would be revealed.
Yeah, and the show is not profitable in any way, shape, or form. Profitable?
No,
not even close, and never will be. It's there to get subs, and say something magically happens, they get all their subs at CBS All Access, you watch that thing get pared down or something else happen. If Picard is a success, I think they will feel like they won't need that show anymore, maybe. So I think Picard's success could actually hurt it. Now, that's just my speculation. If
Picard,
they feel like
what?
If it's the big if, the giant if. I want you to think of an if that's like huge. Okay, it's huge. It's a huge if. If it's successful, it could be bad for STD.
Those are two words that I never have heard in conjunction. Picard and successful. I mean, that's like Rosie O'Donnell and erection. That's just two words that don't really go together, you know?
Star Trek Discovery and Intelligent. Yeah, it's just not going to happen.
Exactly.
Star Trek Picard won't be successful, but the thing is, they'll give it a second season anyway. Won't matter because they need it.
I don't know, dude.
They need the
so
illusion
expensive.
of success right now, but there will be a time this is all over, folks.
Well, you know what it'll be, dude? Yeah, what it will be is that Picard, Jake, out of luck, Picard will die at the end of the show. And his ragamuffin fleet of really beautiful people, including the Vulcan elf, Lego Spock, will have like their little ship that they wound up with, and they will name it the Picard. And then it will be season 2 will be Star Trek Picard.
Why are you giving them ideas?
That's what they're going to do.
That.
That's what they're going to do.
God.
That's what they're going to do. And that way they won't have the expense of Jean-Luc Picard, of Patrick Stewart. They'll just have a fucking ship and they can still call it Star Trek Picard. Get it?
Yes,
did I ruin it?
That makes so much sense.
I think I'm shit. I ought to just make a video about that as a prediction, don't you think?
Yes.
Just to irk them, because they may not be paying attention to this. I need to put it right out there. I need to like tomorrow just do a video. I don't care if nobody clicks on it. I just want it out there so that then if CBS actually does that, tardigrade, right? Oh dear.
But can I say it? I'm working on something huge, possibly. I'm working on an Anas Abdeen video.
Oh, good.
Yeah, because it's time I reminded people. So I'm trying to find. There's things I'm trying to do, and we'll see if it works out. Well, I'm doing my best. If not, it'll just be a reminder. But I think it's time that every couple months I get a few new subscribers. I want to remind them that Anas Abdeen, in my opinion, got ripped off by Star Trek Discovery, and he's not the only one. By the way, they got priors, and his life.
Brian Singer, right?
Brian Fuller.
Excuse me, Brian Fuller. Yeah, don't you think?
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
With Picard here.
Yes.
I don't know if that's going to be litigated or if it's impossible. Like, was it a work for hire? But usually you still have to credit people. I don't know.
Yeah. Usually. But working on that, see what I can come up with. And if not, it'll just be a reminder video. Please support it. Please support Anas. And we're going to work on the Justice for Anas shirts. I talked to Anas himself, and he says it's okay. He doesn't want to profit off it in any way. So, wow, what a stand-up guy. I don't either. So I'm probably gonna. I got to work with the people making the shirts. I mean, we need to pay them, but we'll probably put the rest towards charity. So that's what we're gonna do with the rest of the money. All profits to charity, and then after the shirts get paid for. So I'll let you know about the shirts as soon as possible. Be probably a couple weeks. But there you go. Adam Child for $10. The Inquisition or the NFL and Tom Brady. Two tough choices. Sorry, boys. Going with the GOAT, a.k.a. the greatest living American, a.k.a. Tom Terrific Brady. Have a great show. Go Pats.
Brady.
I'll catch it later.
Fuck you. Fuck Brady. I hate that fucker. Sorry. Go ahead. I don't mean to turn this into sports.
No, it's okay.
But I don't like Brady. I hate fucking Brady.
Yeah. Jeez. I don't like the sports ball. Without respect, we reject. The NFL screwed over the city of San Diego by removing their team and putting another team in LA where LA had said they didn't want them. And believe me, they're doing okay now, but it'll be a forgotten team. So without respect, we reject. I don't give the NFL my time, my money, anything anymore, ever. They're dead to me. Adam Chow for $2. P.S. It's all about Star Wars TP. Peace. I'm out. It's all good. It's all good. We this will be on the channel. I'm keeping it on the channel so you can watch it later. It's cool.
Really?
Yeah. Oh yeah. I keep all the Inquisitions up.
Well, I put them on Harvey's, but I mean, doesn't it like kill you? How long are we going to go tonight? I think.
We'll probably 3 hours max.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it doesn't really hurt you that much?
No. The people love the Inquisition, man. People love the Inquisition.
So as long as we keep
supporting.
it down to a certain length, then
yeah, if it goes over like 4 hours, then I'll put it or 3 hours. I put it on Nerdrotic Live.
Okay.
But it's all about the time. Like I try to keep it at 2.5. I think that people like to, because if they watch a certain amount of it, it doesn't hurt the show adversely. And people watch the Inquisition for like a half an hour. That's the average view. That's pretty good.
Okay.
That's pretty freaking good. So
well, they won't slam that as being okay, but it was 2 hours not watched. No.
And I also factor in, it's a 1 day at a time thing, and I've been doing pretty good over on the channel. So thank you, everybody. Thank you for the engagement. Oh, and I should take this time for Doomcock, which I'm sure my mods, could you put Doomcock's channel into the chat, please? Please like, share, and subscribe. YouTube is they've changed the rules since the Crowder incident. They've changed something. So certain channels, I believe most in the Phantom Menace, get pretty damn good traction for about day and a half, and then it falls off. And that's very different from what it was 2 to 3 months ago, where it usually took 3.5 days for a video to kind of peter out. Now it's like a day and a half, and I could consider it content sometimes, but I had a video do 50,000 views in 24 hours and 4,000 the next day.
Yeah. I've been having that. They're really just like boom, and then it's like it doesn't exist anymore.
No. So they're not recommending as much. So if you guys could share as much as possible, please, it really helps. Share and like. I really appreciate it. Thank you very much. I don't hate Tom Brady because my wife did his mom's hair, and she's a nice lady.
That's vested interest.
There you go. But I know he's broken my heart as a Charger fan many times. Cracklin, Nerdcock, Doomrotic. You guys are more human than human. Yes, more human than human. I like that song. I like Rob Zombie. I did.
Wow. Well, Zombie. That's isn't that like based off of the Terrell Corporation's motto?
Yes,
more human than human is our motto.
That's right.
So maybe he got it from the song. Yeah, there we are.
Yeah. Or this. Yeah. This is like my one leftover. When Blade Runner came out, I wanted to collect everything, and they had nothing. They had a poster, a book, the cars, and some buttons, and that's it. And the soundtrack they didn't have. They had some knockoff. I forgot what was the name of it was some orchestra that it wasn't Vangelis, and it was terrible.
It was the New American Classic Orchestra, or something like that.
Very good.
It was not good.
No, it wasn't.
But I still bought it because I was so desperate.
Yep. I was so happy when they came out with that soundtrack.
Oh man, I know it. Well, for a long time, it was a bootleg only by someone called Off-World Publishing. It's definitely a bootleg. I don't know how they got a hold of it. I really don't. I mean, they got it without dialogue and everything. It was clean.
I don't know, somebody within the studio. They must have just.
It must have been.
Yeah.
I've got so many different iterations of that in my collection. I've got a couple of like a double album, a triple album, and then I've got the official one they released. So
I love triple album. Oh man, I need to talk to you about that. I need to get a copy of that.
I'm pretty sure. Yeah.
Bird of Prey 5 for $2. Kapla, happy 53rd birthday to Star Trek, the original series. Hail all. Happy birthday, Star Trek, by the way. Yes.
September 8th, 1966. They broadcast The Man Trap, which was the where'd you get that, dude?
Sparkus Aurelius gave us that $500 super chat on the Exozone by accident, and I refunded him because he did it, but he meant to do $5. He did 500, and then he was like really cool about it. He's like, you don't have to refund it. I'm like, dude, I got to refund it. I mean, like, YouTube took his 30%, of course, and he sent me this.
Where'd he get it?
He didn't say. He just like, I sent you something rad, and he
God
did.
Damn it! I've always wanted one of those. I don't know even. Let me see it.
It looks like you could. This could be made. This can be made. That's like
well, I don't know. Yeah, I mean, but I've always wanted one. I mean, I've badly wanted one. What the hell? Well, I didn't even know they existed.
yeah, somebody crafted this one, man. This is
God
freaking
damn.
badass. And I got this is the weirdest thing ever. I'm not going to eat it, but Vulcan stew rations.
Oh yeah,
from a rations company. That's awesome.
God damn.
Oh.
Well, I'm just like, now I'm going to sulk the rest of the time. Now I'm
Oh,
just gonna
don't
be quiet.
sulk.
No,
We'll
no, fuck
there,
that.
I guarantee. Oh, he's all no. I'm going to sulk.
I'm going to sulk. That's it.
The good thing is we're on the internet and people can listen. So if somebody can, figure out where we can get one, let me know.
Maybe he could tell you where he got it or something.
Yeah, I'll ask him. I'll email him.
God
he might be
damn it.
walking. Shaq in 09 for $2. Make Star Wars Dark Empire again. Yes. Well, that's what they're doing. I don't know if you saw that article, Shaq in 09. But there was an article that kind of sussed out. For one, somebody actually read Dark Empire and went, wait a minute. JJ's been pulling from Dark Empire from day. Of course he is. He's got nothing. And you know what? If they would have adapted Dark Empire, they would have just made all the money. Period. But they didn't. And yeah, they're borrowing from Dark Empire, and I'm guessing, I don't know. I honestly don't care, but I'm guessing they'll use some sort of clone technology or whatever, and that'll be behind the Emperor. We've heard so many leaks, and half of them sound totally plausible considering J.J. Abrams and what he's capable of. I don't know. Cold Fusion Waffles for $5.25. Hail Doomcock and Gary. May that reject Jim Henson Muppet Rian Johnson be forever forgotten and quartered to the Eldritch old god Harvey of Cthulhu. If we could find a way to shove him in that little Harvey zone, that'd be awesome.
It would be great. It would be like, feeding a rat to a boa constrictor.
It would.
Just one of those kind of things. If the rat was a real piece of shit that was incapable of writing anything decent, that would be the flaw in the analogy. What did the rat do to deserve it? Well, in this case, the rat did plenty. If it was Jar Jar,
he did plenty. Well, I guess we could talk about Rian right now, and there's a couple of so Rian came out and stated that he is indeed still working on the trilogy. The key point here is Disney did not say anything. They didn't say anything during D23, not a word. And it was Rian Johnson had to come out and say he's still working on it. So the Access Media ran with that. The fact that Disney didn't confirm it, Doomcock, I think says everything. I think I've always thought that they probably gave it to him a little too soon. What they did is they bought into the early buzz of The Last Jedi that they all paid for. So they got what they paid for. They got a lot of early buzz and they believed it, and they offered him a trilogy, and now they can't take it back publicly, or it would just look like the biggest. As a matter of fact, I think they ran that flagpole up for Salute. Remember when that happened? And then all of us were going live that day with freaking party hats on and everything. And they saw that, went, no. He's still got the trilogy. Never mind. Jeremy's too happy. We can't have that. And I just don't, I think it's a relationship they don't know how to get out of right now. And he keeps reminding them, and they're trying to ghost him. What do you think about that?
Oh man, I don't know. I hope so. I mean, that's a good interpretation. I'd love to think that if it was possible. They're not really in the habit of directly responding to rumors and things. I mean, I think it's possible. I think it's definitely a sound argument. I just wish I knew. I just wish I had real confirmation on it. You know what I mean?
We have none. This is the first time I've heard. I've heard a lot of we're not getting it. We're not getting it. Yeah. I still don't think we're getting it. I would want. I mean, how
could they? I don't know. I don't know.
Please make it. That's all I've ever said is go right ahead. Be my guest. That would be great for the channels, and it would be entertaining to watch. Star Wars, I mean, they would just kill it at that point. And apparently he's going to be taking he said or insinuated that he's moving the thing forward. Whatever. I think it was just him blasting, just reminding people he was here. personally, and there's been no movement on it, and I just think Disney not talking about it at D23 was kind of a big deal.
That is a big deal. The fact that they didn't even, I mean, that means it's like, what is it? Like a rumor seeking funding to become a notion.
That's
it's
good.
It's like so vague and so nothing that I think that I don't think he's going to get a goddamn trilogy.
No. But then I came across this. There was a late night live stream last night. Come on, get up there. That I was invited on, and Anna passed this on to Jeremy. And dude, what the hell? There we go. And we have to talk about this because it's more Rian and the not so subtle subtext of what his new movie is going to be about. And it just sounds like Rian Johnson made a movie to work out all of his personal gripes over the last 3 years, and somebody funded it. And now Hollywood is going to overpraise this thing to death. And, I'll probably watch it now and review it, to be honest with you. Just for shits and giggles.
I can't stand it. I don't.
But it looks terrible. It looks awful.
It looks like shit. Well, of course, he's not a writer. He's not a writer. He can't fucking write. He just shat out a script for The Last Jedi, literally first draft, and just shat it out. He said in interviews, I don't really like writing. I don't enjoy the process. And it shows. And so if this, he slapped together this crap, a takedown of white entitlement. Well, Ruin, I don't think you're fucking entitled to do anything. So don't worry about it. It's not a problem as far as you're concerned. I don't think you are entitled to do a fucking thing. I think you are a talentless, big, round-headed piece of shit. And I don't have any idea why you're still employed. After you split a franchise asunder, and we even had videos saying that's what you wanted, that you wanted someday to do a movie that split the audience, where half of the people hated it and half of the people loved it. Well, I think you fucked up here. I don't think half of the people loved The Last Jedi. I think half of the people didn't hate it and then half hated it. I don't think there's a whole fuck of a lot of people that actually love that idiotic piece of shit. So you know what? First of all, I love detective movies. I love this kind of thing. But I don't want to see guys like Christopher Plummer and Daniel Craig laid so low by this fucking clown. Can you imagine? I mean, it's just exactly like what they did to Luke. He's going to do this to Daniel Craig. He's going to do it to Christopher Plummer. Going to do it to Jamie Lee Curtis. It's just going to be a shit show. He just loves to fuck with people. He just wants to watch the world burn. That's it.
He does. He's a nihilist little, what. It just seems that way publicly, unless it's just a persona, which I highly doubt. I think he is what he is. He's been on a bit of a tear lately. I ignore his stuff on Twitter. And yeah, he's a little fracking troll. By the way, met Jamie Lee Curtis with Mrs. Neurotic at a Starbucks in like Riverside County on the way back from Coachella. She was freaking cool. She has cool beans. She started talking to us. I think she saw us just kind of looking. We didn't want to bug her. I'm like, oh my God, I saw her boobs. And then
that's what I was thinking.
And she was totally cool. I'm sorry she's in this. From IndieWire, the Oso Access Media shilly IndieWire, Knives Out. And forgive, for people who watched the live stream last night, a lot of people didn't. Not a lot of there was crossover, but we got to pretend that this is everybody's first episode here. So, Knives Out review: Rian Johnson's hugely entertaining whodunit offers sharp takedown of white entitlement. Not since Hamilton, a play I've never seen, has a juicy slice of entertainment been so openly determined to bridge the gap between old history and new language by alienating. How do you bridge something by automatically alienating a large portion of your audience with your headline? And I have to state the obvious here, Doomcock. It's not like anybody's for white entitlement. It's when you put a headline like that, you do maybe unintentionally offend people automatically by being racist. So you might want to rethink that. But David Elric and Rian Johnson don't care because they're leaning into the politics of today because it's very safe to do. This is like the safest freaking thing to do. And this is a puppy video. This is a clickbait puppy video for YouTube. It's like the easiest thing to do. It's guaranteed awards attention. And I hope this thing just bombs. I hope this thing bombs so damn hard. Rian Johnson's knives out a crackling, devious, and hugely satisfying old school whodunit with a modern twist. Wants you to know that it takes place in the world of today. In fact, if you want to know that it wants you to know, it wants you to know. Hardly a minute goes by without some reference to the here and now of it all. Yeah, because that doesn't happen in pretty much everything we watch, right? When legendary crime novelist Harlan Thornley, Christopher Plummer, is found dead the morning after his 85th birthday. And it goes through tells the whole damn movie, so I won't read the whole thing. I'll just get to the gist of it. It's as if the past dies with him, and the present comes rushing into his place, eager to claim the inheritance to which it always felt entitled. So I think within this movie, Rian Johnson's going to basically continue his Twitter storm and take shots at everything and everybody he doesn't like. I doubt it will come with any kind of neutrality. This is just my guess. I could be wrong. You never know. So Christopher Plummer will be the patriarchy, and his children will be basically a stand-in for maybe Star Wars fans or just white entitlement. Who knows? Who cares? And everybody's going to be a bad character except the one they call the Help. But yeah, and there is a line in here where they describe. Here it is. And this sent Jeremy into. I think he sprained his cringe muscle. Tony Coletta is basically a glorified Instagram influencer, and that's probably working out great. Linda's husband, Richard Don Johnson, is cheating on her. Even worse, he's a Trump supporter. And whether you are or not, I mean, I just flip it. Even worse, he's a Biden supporter. Even worse, he's an AOC supporter. It's worse than cheating on your wife. To use the language of Dave Chappelle, it depends on what she did. Walt's teenage son, Jacob, may be the only self-identified Republican in the family, but he's basically a mini Ben Shapiro. Okay. There's a line in here that also sent Jeremy off. I don't know if I can find it off, but it's talking about Rian Johnson. It says, fresh off his work on here it is. Hot off the best Star Wars movie ever made.
That's a guy that doesn't have any fucking clue what Star Wars is. Has never watched Star Wars. Is just like giving his pal a boost in a fucking article. That's all there is. It's like that right there invalidates this clown entirely.
Yeah, he gives it an A-, and it sounds like he's trying to kiss up to Rian Johnson, get that access he needs so badly.
Right, his career is so bad that he's writing on IndieWire about a movie that nobody gives a shit about. That thing's gonna die in the box office, I swear.
It absolutely is. And just to give you a little insight on IndieWire, I guess, is a bigger site than but not much bigger. And I don't know if this guy's a staff writer, but I know they don't make dick. These guys don't make dick anymore. They really hate YouTubers. And listen, he could go and start his own channel right now, but you can't hide behind turning off comment sections and blocking people on Twitter. You got to kind of roll with it. I think that's a problem, and that you can't interact on live streams. So yeah, this is typical Access B, and it's like they're so blatant now. It's funny, like you just said, it's funny. It's I get a chuckle. I get a chuckle. Hot off the best Star Wars movie ever made.
Right. So good that it divided the fandom and absolutely killed enthusiasm for Solo and for Episode 9. Just straight up.
And comparing him to Wes Anderson, you know, whose film I've enjoyed some Wes Anderson films. Rian Johnson is nowhere near as talented as that dude. You know, not everything is great, but I like some of them. Yeah, it comes out Thanksgiving, so I'm gonna I might ruin my Thanksgiving weekend by buying tickets to another film, walking in and trying to sit through this. I don't know. I like these kind of movies too. And it is kind of a dead genre. Well, it really is.
It is. I mean, it's that old-fashioned kind of Agatha Christie drawing room thing, and he's doing a parody of it because, you know, all he does is smear things and mock them. You know, he can't. God forbid he should do a genuine, you know, honest to God film in a genre. No, he's got to go ahead and put a spin on it because he knows so much better how to do these kind of films than the people that invented the genres. You know, I mean, he's going to pass judgment on the genre. He's going to go ahead and refine it. He's going to go ahead and make it in his own image, which is why it will stink.
It's guaranteed. For one, Rian Johnson is convinced he's the smartest man in every room, who usually is the dumbest. But,
exactly. Those most proclaiming they're fucking genius. Yeah. Look out for them. They're the dummies. They're the ones that have no self-awareness. They see, that's the thing. Rian Johnson lacks the objectivity and the self-awareness to be a great writer. Just straight up. You cannot be a great writer if you love every fucking thing that you write. When you turn in a first draft and you haven't gone over it with a fine-tooth comb and sweated and worked it until you can't even think straight, you're not a writer. You don't deserve it. It's not going to be any good. As a writer, you basically got to cultivate an attitude of self-loathing. You really do. You have to automatically view everything that you write with skepticism, and look at it and always be thinking about how to make it better, not just shove a fucking first draft out there and say, job well done. It's so brilliant. I'm so brilliant. That means that you're not. That means that you suck. Just straight up. The fact that you would do that means that you are not a writer and you don't have the stuff to be a writer. And here he is writing, because that's Hollywood. And that's why you shouldn't go see anything that this cocksucker does, because it will be garbage, because he can't write. Straight up. He is not a writer.
100% agreed, and self-admitted, but still he does it because he thinks he has the talent. And part of the culture with Hollywood now is there is, and this is just me guessing, I'm guessing there isn't a lot of people who say no to your face anymore. I got a lot of that when I was working down there. There was just people down there, you know, they were just so two-faced, and they, you know, everything's awesome to your face. And, you know, any criticisms that I would have loved to have heard to my face to help, you know, get better, never heard them. But they would certainly, you know, and they did this to everybody there, not just me. And that's part of how this culture dies. You know, there was a time when writers in Hollywood and writers of novels also knew how to fix their car, also knew how to, you know, replace some drywall in their house. They were well-rounded human beings. They weren't just writers. They didn't just go to a, Cal Arts or something to be entertainer. So they were this, you know, that's why the writing was better. It was, I mean, and now Hollywood is filled with, I hate to say it, film school graduates. I mean, it's like, you know, it's good to have a mix of those, but it's good to have a mix of well-rounded people. And you know,
Right.
that's what Rian Johnson is to me. I mean, he's just straight up a bad film school graduate, you know, and maybe he should be teaching
Do
at
you
a
even know if he
community
went to film
college.
school? I mean, it may have just been a goddamn nepotism.
It might
You
have been.
I'm not convinced he knows a goddamn thing.
He directed an episode of Breaking Bad, you know, or a couple, and you know, he did a couple movies that some people like him. I don't.
Directing is not hard. Directing is very easy.
Well, especially a Disney film now, they practically do it for you. I mean,
Yeah.
that one.
Oh yeah, the art department will do it for you. All you have to do is like have them draw their storyboards, which is basically like a comic book, and just point the goddamn camera in the right direction.
Yeah,
and cover enough footage. It's really, really simple, and any idiot can do it. You know, but writing remains difficult. Writing is important. Writing is something that you either know how to do or you don't. And if you do know how to do it, it's because you hated yourself enough to become good at it. You hated yourself enough to really, really, really beat yourself up and you know, suffer. You have to suffer to be a great writer. It's just, you know, nobody is naturally great. To really be great, you have to have that self-awareness. You have to question your decisions. You've got to also work intuitively, and you've got to trust yourself, at least in early drafts. And then you've got to turn skeptical, and you've got to look at your stuff, and you've got to work it and work it and work it until finally, maybe it actually is good. But these people lack the discipline and the self-awareness to ever question how wonderful they fucking are. And that's why we get shit like The Last Jedi.
Yes, absolutely. And that's why we continue to get shit like Captain Marvel and Star Trek Discovery. And
nobody even questions about how can the Skrull have an interstellar empire if they don't have light speed technology. It's just the stupidest fucking thing. And of course, the first place you're going to come to is 1980s or 90s Earth in a military base to cook up that light speed, you know, and leave your high-tech spaceship in orbit, your high-tech science lab in orbit. That's smart. That's so smart.
It is. You know, it must have been, you know, I think I confused the story I've been telling. I confused it with Black Widow and Captain Marvel. So there's a director who turned down Black Widow. I thought it was Captain Marvel. And I'm trying to see the rest of the headline because IndieWire, this is from IndieWire, they changed their headline. And when they do that, you can still see the old one. And it says Black Widow, Lucura Martel turned down Marvel's sexist. And that's not what the headline says anymore. It says Lucura Martel turned down Black Widow after Marvel told her, don't worry about action scenes. And I've been telling the story because this was back in December. She wanted to direct the action scenes. She wanted to direct the special effects scenes. And they told her, nah, we get other people to do that. You just direct the actors. And she says companies aren't interested in female filmmakers, but they still think action scenes are for male directors. No, that's not true. Ryan Coogler wasn't directing those scenes either. And they all have a template. And that's the thing is Marvel has this template now and it's probably the same for Star Wars. I'm guessing they, you know, the special effects scenes are generally mapped out. Although our good friend Ichibaka pointed out to me and others, and he's got an article on this on The Great Star Wars is Dumb, and we will be shouting out his book in a little bit, that the hyperspace scene with Holdo was lifted from something, we'll say.
Really?
Yes. There he's got an article. Just check it out. It's on Star Wars is Dumb. I'll find the link in a second, but he's awesome. He's doing a book. He's crowdfunding a book. I'll shout that out. And also we've got the Phantom Menace book we want to shout out as well in a little bit. But we got to do some business here.
Of course.
And get to some super chats. We're not quite done with Rian yet. Because we got some Star Wars stuff to talk about as well. But let's get back to since we heard from Adam Child, who wants to see Tom Brady instead of us.
The fool. Well, you know what the hell. I God knows I'm addicted to tennis myself, and I love football. I just don't like Brady. So what can I say?
The difference between us and sports ball is the Inquisition doesn't lose.
That's right. That's right. There you go. You don't come away from the Inquisition ever feeling like a loser. You feel elevated, and you don't have to pick sides. I mean,
No,
you know,
as long as it's our side. No,
yes, exactly. Exactly. Well, because we're not, we're on the same team. So we win. That's just the way it is.
Zizzy Vax for $2. Happy birthday, Star Trek. Damn the man saved the Empire. Damn the man saved the Empire. Damn the man saved the Empire. Thank you, Zizzy Vax. Art Fusco. I met Art in San Diego Comic-Con. What's up, Art?
Hail Art.
$5. Hail Doomcock and Nerdrotic. So much crap going on behind the scenes. I wouldn't want to work for Discovery. So glad he could afford to leave. Some can't. And he did point that out, Art. Yes, that is a fact.
Right. Yeah. I can't imagine how soul crushing it would be to go into work every day and have to put up with that shit. It would be absolutely just, oh God, it would be painful. So painful.
It would. And Art was at the we did a couple meetups at Comic-Con, and and someday Doomcock will be at meetups, by the way, folks. We're working our way towards that. We got it's a process that we're going to get to, but there will be a day where you get to shake Doomcock's hand. He'll have a mask on, but that's part of the
whole thing. Course.
Yes,
of course.
But at that function I was at, that's where somebody pulled me aside and told me that Star Trek Discovery was one of the worst places to work, and that there was major chaos, and that they fired mass people. Yeah, they haven't. I mean, it hasn't just been a writer walking. Okay, there has been on Picard, and I don't know about Discovery, but Picard, they did get rid of a bunch of people from the beginning. After very coincidentally, right when the test screenings, right after the test,
right?
Yeah, it was just
that they denied happened, but it's funny how that kind of worked, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
I also find it very. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Go on.
I just find it amusing that the showrunners, the first showrunners, apparently got fired for abusing writers in the writers' room. And my thought on that was good. What? That is what you should be doing. How do you take scripts like the shit that they were shoveling at you and not yell at them? How do you read something about like Sonar in Space and not just like throw down your coffee and lean over the table and say, "You stupid fuck. How in God's name do you ever presume to call yourself a writer? I don't even fucking believe you speak English, you piece of shit. How dare you fucking come into this room with that garbage and you shove it in my face before I've even had a chance to have breakfast? Well, I guess you did me a favor, because if I had breakfast, I would have puked all over this goddamn disgrace. You idiot, get the fuck out of here." Well, how do you not do that? How do you not do that? That is your job as a showrunner. You don't owe any goddamn respect to somebody that can write something that bad. I mean, it's like that's what they needed more of. And then they fired her, and that's why you can't have nice things at Star Trek Discovery, because everybody gets a trophy for bringing shit. And if you yell about it or complain about it, you get fired. So I have a little more sympathy for the showrunners that got canned in the first fucking round, Gary, because Jesus Christ, whatever abuse they heaped on the writers was not nearly enough. I'm sorry.
No,
that was my thought. It's like, good. That's what they needed.
Well, and that's what they, some of the reports were, not that I was crazy about Harburg or whatever, but they initially said, "Hey, stop going behind our back." Right. And they went behind their back again and got them fired. Yeah, I have no idea who that could have been at all. But you know, there's always, I mean, you know, there's people who have survived the whole time. And like I said in my video, and then we have no idea who could have been the one. Now that's, you know, Jonathan Frakes and Michelle Yeoh. And, you know, I hate criticizing Michelle Yeoh. I like Michelle Yeoh. I like her in other things. I love Crouching Tiger. I thought that was a really fun movie. But her performance as a Philippe Georgiou, as like a soccer mom trying to be sexy on Halloween as a madam or something, it's terrible. It's terrible. She was better as the stoic Georgiou. I mean, the first episode was trash, don't get me wrong, but yeah,
I can't like her. I can't like her at all, dude. I just that ship has sailed. Liked her in the past tense is the best I can say. I just can't do it anymore. And John Tennant himself has told me stories.
Oh, really?
Yeah, she's not so great. That's all I'll say.
Well, I mean, honestly, listen, to hear that from people who work there, I'm not surprised at all.
No, not at all.
Surprised at all.
But I love it that these little snowflake writers that could write such trash are all sensitive about getting yelled at for writing trash. It's just so funny. I mean, I'm assuming. I mean, who knows? Maybe she yelled at them for bringing coffee in the right or spilling. Who knows? I mean, I'm assuming though. Listen, anybody that writes this crap deserves as much invective and abuse and profanity heaped upon them as a human being can spew. So I'm just not very sympathetic, Gary.
You don't need to be. They all make a lot of money and they do just fine. They do just fine.
They make money for nothing.
Yeah. And the chicks are free.
Yeah.
Larry for $2 says, happy anniversary, Star Trek, September 8th, 1966. Happy anniversary, Star Trek. I'm sorry what has happened to you. But there's an end date on that, unfortunately. It's not still going. Star Trek died when Les Moonves and CBS decided to use it as a tool to start their streaming service that they knew was never, I mean, you know, we've got the company merger now and the layoffs are coming, and then we'll see if they get sold or if they buy. Who knows? I've heard both. And I don't care. I just know that, about 3 years from now, there's all this talk of 5 Star Treks coming. We're going to get the same result as we did when Alex Kurtzman said the Dark Universe was coming, and we were going to get a bunch of Spider-Man sequels. And yeah, we'll get the same result. Eli McGinnis for $2.99, but no comment. Thank you, Eli. Cheers, my friend. We appreciate it. The White Wolf for £2. Time for some pop culture scapism.
Yes.
Go for it, guys. And yes, scapism is horrible. Don't even look it up. It's just really bad. And Star Trek Discovery deserves it. Actually.
It does. It destroyed a franchise. So does Last Jedi.
Absolutely. Fizzenthorpe for $5, probably ratted out by a white coworker, punished by white bosses. Yes, Fizzenthorpe, that's probably what he didn't want to go through. The humiliation of this guy, this veteran who's paid all of his dues multiple times, more than any of that entire crew, right down to the freaking key grip, have ever paid. And he gets a call from HR. A call from HR, not from Alex Kurtzman, not from Michelle Paradise, from H-effing-R.
Yes. Called to the mat by a bunch of bureaucrats. This writer who was slumming in the first place for relating in his own, accurately, shit that happened in his own life. Quoting it because it was important. It was important to quote the story in the context because he was quoting and allegedly a LA officer that was saying, something about, well, it's in the article, but I mean, the language was important. The language was key to the point that the man was trying to make about his own life and his own experience. And for them to then say, well, you can't talk like that. in the writer's room. It's not even going on air. You simply can't talk like that. It's insulting, and it's condescending, and it is just, it is silencing someone who should not be silenced.
No. And a writer, okay, so a professional writer is passing on wisdom. So he's going to put some flair on a story because that's his job. That's what he does. And he knows the impact of hearing that word out loud will add, add more impact to the story, the wisdom that he's passing on of a time when he was talking to a cop a couple of decades ago, 3 decades ago, and that cop, telling him what he did, and it's in the story. I'm not going to go over it here. And that's just the way he is, and that's how people talk. It's how people talk in AA meetings. Because God damn, if this ever hit AA, if freaking wokeness hits AA meetings, man, I don't know what I'll do. But I mean, that's still a pretty great place to where you can speak completely freely. You won't get judged. They still have men's meetings and women's meetings, and however you identify, you can go to either one. Nobody cares. But yeah, it's creeping in everywhere. What is it? It's this this PC culture of just policing words, being afraid of what you have nothing to fear from words. And if words scare you, then man, seek help immediately, because life will be extremely hard. Life is tough, and we all have our varying degrees of what we're going to put up with and tolerance and everything. But to repeat what RMB said in his live stream, which was a very wise thing to say, you know what? Being uncomfortable is good. I've experienced a ton of discomfort in my life. I'm sure the Overlord didn't become a supervillain overnight. I'm sure there was some discomfort involved in developing and honing that. That's that's the human experience. We can't get rid of that, or we stop being human. Period.
You like Captain Kirk said, I need my pain. It makes me who I am. One does not become a villain dwelling in a G-rated Disney movie. It's just the way it is. One does not become a super villain filled with rage and evil and bitterness, living in an episode of the Apple Dumpling Gang. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
You've got to have bitterness. You've got to have pain. You've got to have misery and darkness to have that depth that super villainy requires.
Agreed. Thank you, Fizzenthorpe. Sam Whiskey for $4.99. Hail Doomcock and Neurotic. Gene Autry's The Phantom Empire is better than Star Trek Discovery. Too bad they turned the Joker into Norman Bates. Well,
we don't know. We don't know what the Joker is going to be. I mean, we haven't seen it. It could be an incredibly nuanced performance like, Travis Bickle in Taxi Driver. It could be shit. It could be heavy-handed and clumsy, and we've just seen the best parts edited in the trailer. We don't know. Personally, I feel like it's probably going to be a very fascinating movie, and I'm eagerly anticipating it, and fingers crossed that it's really good and points a new direction for DC to follow. I'm excited about it, but it could be awful.
There's such a bad sentiment right now towards critics within our audience and people here on YouTube that I think there's just this natural aversion from some, not everybody. And listen, it's there with me too. I'm only saying it because it's there with me. Is if a bunch of critics like it, I'm like, why? Because they love Knives Out right now. Oh God, they're loving Knives Out. So it's like, but
is this by any chance distributed by a Disney company?
Joker?
No,
Knives Out. Oh, that's a good question.
Out.
That is a. Man,
I mean, is that like Touchstone? Is it like a studio owned by Disney, and therefore this is basically one big propaganda push to make Rian Johnson acceptable again, give him a shot to rehabilitate him? I can't see another studio giving him a shot. I said
Li-
very suspicious of it.
Lionsgate. So who owns Lionsgate? Lionsgate just bought. They're on their own, so they just bought Stars, but I think they're for sale. But yeah, Lionsgate. It's not Disney, but I think Disney would certainly want him to succeed. I think they would be behind helping their guy out, even if it's for another company. And who knows? I mean, I don't think Disney's going to buy. Yeah, Lionsgate's doing their own thing right now. They keep trying. All I know is they came in, bought was it Stars, and they were behind Counterpart and Ash versus Evil Dead getting canceled. So I hate them.
Yeah, I understand.
Gosh dang, Ash versus Evil Dead. The first 2 seasons were so great, and third season, man, it was okay, but it was a fun show, man. It was such a fun show.
It was.
The first season was like on the level of Cobra Kai as far as bringing back an old property, respecting old characters, and bringing in new characters that you like. It was on that level. It didn't maintain it in the second season, but it was still really entertaining. If you're a fan of Sam Raimi, if you're a fan of the Evil Dead franchise, man, don't go run and watch it. It's a lot of practical effects, a lot of fun. Of course, there was a little battle between 2 showrunners, and then that's what screwed it over. It got delayed.
Oh my God.
Yep. Too bad. Egos. Our good friends, Coach and Nicholas Glenn at Echo Base Network for $4.99. Coach and I made our greatest intro ever. That's calling your shot right there. Called the B Team. Definitely check it out when you can and give us your feedback. I will. I will give you honest feedback. Okay, guys. Well, that's all. I wouldn't bullshit you guys, but apocrypha. Apocrypha. I'm a moron. Listen, I dropped out of high school. No, I got kicked out. I'm sorry. I didn't drop out. They actually wanted me to leave. SJWism and cancel culture is the new age fascism. Apocrypha, it is. And I think it's come to the forefront, and it's thanks to Dave Chappelle. And the funniest thing, and it is truly funny, is watching the Access media. A lot of people haven't bit on Dave Chappelle, like just trolled every critic with that special. Managed to make a funny special, a poignant special, an important special, and trolled a bunch of critics, daring them to criticize. And a bunch of people have bit. Not a lot, though. So, and the ones who have bit, like, have come out and admitted it. Even one critic admitted that he was trolling. So a critic admitting to trolling. Now it's a nobody.
Wow.
It's a nobody critic. Like anybody can get on Rotten Tomatoes now if you think the right way. By the way, I saw a couple critics there that have websites that don't get traffic. That my dumb website, my website's a backup. It's like in case YouTube goes away, and it's for my iTunes. It's just I repost stuff there, and they had a guy whose website was worse than mine giving a review there. It's yeah. So anybody can go to the Rotten Tomatoes now. It's not special. We know it's not special. Captain Marvel killed it. Not that it was great before.
No, it's phony. It's just fake news. Oh. The definition of fake news is Rotten Tomatoes. It is completely bogus.
Kilroy was here, $5. There's only one possible save for Trek. Decanonize everything from Disastery and Picard and everything else from the secret hideout venture. Yeah, I mean, I have been saying from the start, if Discovery, I mean, it's not good. I'll never like it. But if it's in an alternate universe and it doesn't affect Trek canon whatsoever, it takes a lot of the bite out of my argument. I mean, it's still crappy Trek. You're still disgracing the brand, which is more than a brand. See, that's the thing. Star Trek is not just a goddamn brand. It's American mythology. And Doomcock's been saying that from the beginning, and can say it much more passionately and better than I can. But it's not just a brand, but it is to them. It is to to Alex Kurtzman and everything.
Yeah, it's just a profit center to be exploited. It's a skew. It's a marketing skew, and that's it. And there can be no peace while Star Trek Discovery lives. That's just the way it is. If you want us to come back to Star Trek, you have to do something about STD. You have to decanonize it. You have to delegitimize it. You have to stop shoving it down our fucking throats and making us gag, because we're done with it. And it's really, really gotten to the point where it's impacted any enthusiasm about Star Trek moving forward. Picard, STD, Lower Decks, all of it is crap, because we know it's all in the Kurtzmanized universe. It's all in that so-called Prime universe, which we know is basically bad reboots version, degraded version of Star Trek. So we are completely unmoved and skeptical and hostile, and that's the way it's going to stay. So, if you want us back, you need to cut the shit out. That's all it is.
And I mean, I'm not going to say it's impossible.
It's impossible for them to move forward with this shit. I will never be okay with this shit. Never.
But no, and I won't either. I'm trying to think of, is there a way? You would definitely, if somebody from this, they won't, by the way, I don't think I'm important, but I like to use I statement. So for say, we're in some bizarre world that they reached out to me so I could talk to you guys. I wouldn't even, I mean, I certainly listen, but I doubt I would work with them ever. That's not my desire. I don't start this channel to be a star effer. I don't care about producers watching or writers. I don't. I'd rather talk to you guys. But I don't think there will be no peace. I was trying to think, is there any way, but there really isn't, unless a new regime came in. They started out with, an apology. That's kind of what we need from a Star Wars too. An apology to the fans. I'll say it before, say it again. You can make a bad movie. That's one thing. That's fine. But treating fans poorly, calling them alt-right trolls, calling them istophobes, constantly, is unforgivable. There's not much unforgivable, but like attacking the customer, this is just, and it's been going on for a long time now, a couple of years of this nonsense. Is Hollywood, is it immortal? I don't think so.
No, the times are changing, and they are trying to change in the wrong ways. They're trying to do this superficial attention span deficit kind of storytelling that rewards stupidity and people who can't focus on things for very long, and people who are texting and doing other things while the show is going. But that is not the Star Trek fan base. That's not the Star Trek way. It always was a franchise that rewarded some reflection and some thought and some intelligence, and you are going against that brand. You never ever conflate Star Trek Discovery and intelligence. It's just those two things do not go together. And so you have degraded your franchise to be stupider in a lot of ways than things like Buck Rogers in the 25th century with, Gil Gerard and Aaron Gray with a tweaky robot that goes beady, beady, beady. Okay, Buck. I mean, Jesus Christ. But even in the context of that being kind of a kiddie show, it still made more sense than a typical episode of Star Trek Discovery. It still had even kind of flying loose and fast with, narrative sense and stuff. It still was more coherent than any episode of Star Trek Disgracery. So you have really pioneered a kind of an anti-human, anti-intellectual, anti-rational show that really appeals to no one except people who are not intelligent, sensible, or rational. That's basically it.
That's why you come to the Inquisition. because you're not going to get that from me. That was well said, my friend.
Thank
That was
you.
really well said. Every time I hear you say "we will know peace," it just brings back the Theoden quote from Lord of the
Yes,
Rings.
exactly.
We shall have peace. We shall have peace. When you answer for the burning of the Westfold, when you answer for the children who lie dead on the plains, for the soldiers who were hewn even as they lay dead, which is, we shall have peace when you hang from a gibbet for the sport of your own crows. Then we shall have peace. God damn, I love King Theoden. He's like my favorite thing in the movies. Like, he's so much better in the movies than he is in the book. I mean, he's good. He's good in the book. He's good in the book. It's just you see him more realized in the film. It's one of the rare things that. And the guy who played him, I'm forgetting the actor's name, who was the captain in the Titanic. I was so goddamn good.
Right. Yeah, you're right. I see it now. Exactly.
Fuck, he was good. Fuck, he was good, man. I love King Theoden. He had the best lines, and they just came out with the Osmus is going to have a figure, a 1/6 figure.
Oh,
Coming out
sweet.
soon. I'm so happy. Let's get back to the super chats before I start nerding out on Lord of the Rings too much. I just want to automatically go to some my my good space, my happy space. Fizzanthorpe says these a-holes create content for an audience that doesn't want it and alienate the audience that grew it. Yes, you can't choose your fandom. Well, you don't like them, tough. You're stuck with them. It's like family. You know, you squirted out a kid. He's kind of an asshole, but he's your kid. It's your responsibility.
Well, that's one way to look at it. That really is.
Really, but that's fandom. That's fandom. Star Trek fandom is great fandom, though. It's a particular fandom. It's not an easy to please fandom. They are a high maintenance fandom. Star Trek Discovery is a high. Why? Because they're 5 effing decades old. They'll buy everything you put out. They freaking will talk for hours about, episodes that aired decades ago. Yes, that's exactly what you want. And there's people out there who could make good Star Trek, who could cultivate good Star Trek. But those people cost money. They do. But in the long run, you'll make loads of it, truckloads of it. But Hollywood doesn't think that way. I mean, it never has. It never has. And, you know, when we get something good, it's freaking luck. And listen, there will be no Star Trek anymore. There will be no Doctor Who. There will be no Star Wars. There will be no franchises that last for decades anymore. There won't. The society is not built that way. The entertainment industry is not built that way. And you know, it's been said before. You know, I'm not the one who came up with the saying. We probably shouldn't even have. I think it was Mahler. Was it Mahler who said it? Somebody smart said it, not me. Said that we shouldn't even have these franchises right now. They've kind of gone on too long. Oh, it was JP, and he was kind of right about it. JP at Egotastic. They've kind of gone on longer than they should have. But that was because of us.
Right. Right. We were the ones. We were the life support system, and now they've cut off the fucking life support system. So now Star Trek is going through its death throes, and you know what? Fuck them.
Yeah. You know, and they're so damn lucky, and they slap these people aside too, that are people who are willing to give them a chance after chance after chance after chance. But they're starting to get alienated too. To answer the question somebody asked, it's in a super chat, but the JP collaboration, he interviewed me for a podcast yesterday. JP's cool. Egotastic Fun Time. Good guy. He's a fan. He loves Star Trek. He loves the Orville, and he's got great taste for loving the Orville. Doomcock loves the Orville. I love the Orville. We love Tom Constantino. What's up, brother? And hopefully I'll see you in New York. And we want to love Star Trek, and we do. We still love it. I mean, just not this version of it. So, thank you, Fizzanthorpe, for $5, $4.99 from Echo Base Network. The Inquisition has now surpassed the High Council for me of best weekly YouTube show. Keep up the good work, guys.
High praise,
very high praise. I love the High Council. I love the High Council. I've been a fan. I love Jeff. Love EVS. Do we have a permanent third yet?
I don't know if they
They
do
had Robot Head on last week. He's cool. He's good. I mean, but we have Doomcock, so
there can only be one Doomcock.
Echo Base now. Robot Head is a damn good YouTuber. I mean, you got to respect somebody who's put out 10 videos and has hundreds of thousands of subs or 100,000 subs. And he's really good. And so is Mahler. We love Mahler. And I talked to him yesterday. But Echo Base Network, thank you for the kind words. It's greatly appreciated. I'll try to live up to that. Yeah, thank you for the $4.99. Kilroy was here for $5. There's only one possible save for Trek: decanonize everything from Disaster. Oh, I read this one, but I don't think that can happen, Kilroy. But it is a save. It's a possibility. There's always possibilities. The White Wolf for £2. The writers have been fed by JJ via human centipeding. Oh, that movie, and then Cecil doing it with the Migos. Yeah, that movie disturbs me. I watched like a few minutes of what was going on and I couldn't get through it. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe I'm squeamish.
I wouldn't even trust you. You can't put Jar Jar Abrams in the human centipede chain because, you might be all braced to, receive a load from JJ and it turns out to be nothing. I mean, a mystery box up his ass. You might starve.
Yeah. Hey, the human centipede was at least an original concept to me anyway. More original than anything.
It was a dumb idea that would never work, but it was original.
Yeah.
It's kind of like I was going to say about the spore drive.
I was thinking the same thing.
But unfortunately, that's ripped off. So yeah, it's not. It's not. It was original when Anas Abdeen came up with it, but not so much.
We love Anas Abdeen, by the way.
Yes,
Anas Abdeen.
Anas Abdeen. I mean, it's an idiotic idea, but Anas was making a fantasy essentially. Yeah. I mean, it's like a space fantasy game. So in the context of fantasy, it's perfectly acceptable. It's a very creative and striking image. But for science fiction, like Star Trek, where we already have an established mode of technology and it's going backwards in time, it's absurd. And the fact that they have it with a blue tardigrade, it's just about like a nightmare scenario, I would think, for a lawyer trying to defend that. I certainly would hate to have to try. I'd like to see Perry fucking Mason be told that, well, this is the case, Matlock, and it'd be like, Jesus Christ, I can't do. I can't sell that.
I say, boy,
I can't do that. You're crazy. So yeah, good luck, CBS. I'm sorry. Look, I'm not a lawyer, and it's all alleged. But boy, just in my layperson opinion, just looking at it, it stinks to fucking high heaven, because I would have never in my life, and I'm a really creative guy, and I would have never in my life independently come up with an idea of a tardigrade, like giant blue spacefaring tardigrade that can whisk you anywhere you want in the universe. Sorry, I just never would have come up with that idea. It is not a common trope in science fiction. It is. I've never heard it before, because in science fiction it's idiotic. So that's just the way it is. In fantasy, fine, anything goes in fantasy. The wilder the better, and that's a great fantasy conceit, but not for science fiction. Sorry.
No need to apologize. And I will preface this by saying this is my opinion, but let's cut the bullshit. We know they ripped it off. It's just proving it in court. But there is too many similarities. I have zero doubt that somebody ran across their Steam account. They were crunched for time. There was a bunch of delays. Brian Fuller had been fired. That place is creatively bankrupt. They have a bunch of newbies who wrote soap operas who'd never fucking watched an episode of Star Trek before in their life. But you know what? They probably game on Steam. and they probably came across it, saw it in some article where, I'm guessing because the tardigrade was in there already because it was anthropomorphic, that they Googled effing tardigrade and Anas Abdin's thing came up and they just ripped that. They just did terrible. I was about to use the R word. They R'd it. They R'd that story. They R'd Anas Abdin's creativity. And that's what they did, in my opinion. I mean, I say my opinion. I'm saying it to protect myself, but I know the truth. So it's just a matter of navigating through the copyright laws that favor the large corporations who back the politicians who make these laws, or otherwise he would have been rolling in the money right now, or it would be the Anas all access instead of CBS all access. It's Anas. Oh, that sounds terrible. Anas, I'm sorry.
Well,
access to Anas.
Yeah. he may prevail yet.
I hope he does. But if he doesn't, it's just because of the injustice of our system right now, because they favor these giant corporations. And there's, when there was more corporations, I would be less likely to say that. But now that there's like 5, it's a bit of an injustice. And hopefully there's just some people out there who believe in, justice for the little guy, not the little guy, the independent creator. Excuse me. I got to rephrase that. He doesn't like that term, and I agree with him. The independent creator, the up and coming creator. And they've showed a propensity to do it before. God dang, they're doing it now. They're doing it now. Fuck those guys, man.
Yeah.
And that's really why I don't like them. I'll be upfront about it. It's this Anas Abdin thing is why I don't like them. I just flat out don't like them.
Well, it's a goddamn disgrace. I mean, and the thing is, I mean, how, if you can get away with something this specific and this goddamn obvious, then is there any rule of law at all? Is there any intellectual property law at all? Seriously, it's just it's
kind of a joke like, now anyway.
But even Jesus Christ, and not to mention all the people that resemble the people on the fucking show. It's pathetic.
It is. It's
I mean, Jesus Christ, and it's all blue in Anas's game, tardigrades, and fucking Star Trek Discovery looks like it is shot with one bulb that is blue. They have like basically a bulb, and it's a big blue bulb. Everything on the fucking show is blue.
Oh, you are not kidding. Blue. When I grab a frame for for my thumbnails, I always have to crank that down. Always have to crank up the reds, bring up the yellow a little bit, and just crank down the blue. It's and believe me, you know where they steal that from? The Expanse. The Expanse has a like a blue silver palette to it as well, and they completely rip off that show too, in my opinion.
Yeah.
I don't think it's any coincidence that when they were going through the Spore drive, it looked like the freaking proto molecule. Hail the Doomrodic duo. Keep up the great work from Woke Troll, $5. Well, thank you, Woke Troll. I greatly appreciate it. Thanks for not trolling us with wokeness.
Thank you.
We greatly appreciate that. Kevin Meck for $10. Hail the Inquisition. How much of this 10 super chat does YouTube let you keep? $7.
Right.
$7.
Right.
My feelings on that, they provide the platform. I'm grateful. It's a lot. There are other ways to donate. I don't usually, promote myself that much like that. Although I'm accused of a lot of things, but that's fine. That's part of the game. That's part of the, yes, they get 30%. But I'm grateful. I'm grateful for being able to do this as a job. Didn't plan on it, but I'm grateful. What are the best alternatives to donate to your channels without funding free speech hating organizations? Doomcock, what are alternative funding sources for you?
I don't really have any. I've got
Patreon.
patreon.com slash doomcock. I've got subscribestar.com slash doomcock. And, I've got zazzle.com slash DVD Shoporama, which is a store. And I am putting up my Without Respect, We Reject t-shirts, a whole bunch of different cool designs, including the iconic Doomcock head that people have adopted for their avatars as well. It'll be on t-shirts and all sorts of things there as well. But other than that, you can always send me bags of cash in the mail.
Yeah, P.O. box.
P.O. box. I've got a P.O. box, so you can send stuff there too.
I will put it in the description. These are all the links that are on my website. I'll just throw it in the description. There's PayPal, there's Subscribestar. I will start streaming through Streamlabs very, very soon. I'm working on a template. And we're going to have like a theme for this show. Doomcock's going to probably write it, but no rush on that, by the way. Take your time, but we will eventually have like a theme and cool stuff. So, we're working on it. It's coming down the pike there, but let me, where was I? I'll throw it in the description right now and you guys can, all the links. This is usually what I link at my website. And usually, I don't know why I don't link it. I don't know. I heard once that linking outside of YouTube is bad, and then
it does. It does. Yeah.
And I just stopped doing it. But I'll do it for this one. So there, it is now in the description. I have a BitChute. You can subscribe to me on BitChute and Subscribestar, which is kind of a mirror to the Patreon. And I think there's a PayPal. Oh, where'd it go? Oh, now I got to find that. Oh, don't worry about it. I have a PayPal, but that we don't have to worry about it right now. Let's move on. Captain Spy. Oh, wait. Back. I'll get back to you, Captain Spire. Absolutely right, Gary. I love hearing that. Hear that, Mrs. Nerdrotic? Somebody thinks I'm right. Mosley was brought in as a Michael Chabon-like seasoned novelist and was unappreciated by the bratty Discovery writers. I believe I showed you a picture of a couple of them. And again, that's my opinion. Just look at their IMDb's. Orville Nation, thank you for the $5. All hail the Orville. All hail the Orville. And bratty Discovery writers. I think that's I believe, Doomcock, that is an accurate statement. John Denby for £2. What do you guys think of the Dune Saga? What do you think of the Dune Saga?
The Dune Saga. I think it's good stuff. I mean, it's a famous science fiction literature. I don't know in what context he's asking. Yeah. I haven't made it through the books yet. I always get bogged down and I don't want to say bored. I get distracted. I'm going to give it a proper effort at the beginning of next year to get through as much as I can. I like the movie. I do. I like that awful movie. I think it's great. So I own it. And I'm a fan of the movie for what it is, which is, I mean, thank God he did that instead. I'm blanking on his name now. Why, my God, this is when you get old. Which one?
The Dune movie. It was directed by
David Lynch.
God damn it. Senility.
Well, there have been many different Dune projects. So I was just concerned. I don't know the
David
name.
Lynch movie. I like.
Right.
For what it is. It's, like a schlocky, weird movie. But I like it. Captain Spire, $5 in Fahrenheit 451, the original. Their walls inundated Mildred with audio video mingled with interactivity, keeping her ignorant of the world around her. The original, their walls inundated Mildred with AV. I don't know what AV. I'm guessing audio video mingled with interactivity, keeping her ignorant of the world around her. Captain Spire for $5. Emery Callum for $5. The secret of Star Trek is that Q is just a guy with better mushrooms than the Federation has. Kilroy was here, $5. Oh, I've been wanting to ask this since I talked to you about Chris Squire. And yes, on the Exozone, favorite Yes album, mine, Relayer. Oh, well, do I have a favorite Yes album?
I don't have a favorite. No, I don't know Yes that well. I just like their music in general, but I'm not a big, like, knowledgeable devotee of Yes.
Yeah, I'm the same way. I like Chris Squire. I appreciate his bass playing. But yeah, I haven't seen them live. I didn't follow them. I mean, I know their Poppy album, which is not their best one. And I know that the one that's the Zip Code. But no, but Chris Squire was a bass player. I appreciated his talent. Blue Eyed Scorpio, $1.99. Hail Magical Gary Beard. Well, hello. Thank you. I will comb it. There you go. Adara Scarlet for $5. Thank you guys for fighting for good female characters instead of just accepting any female characters. That's not feminism. It's pandering. Adara, thank you for the $5. It's not. It's sexist. The whole decision behind making Jodie the Doctor was sexist, inherently sexist. They didn't feel like a woman could build a franchise on her own, so they had to use one built by a man and hand it over to her, having all the work done by a man. That's sexist. It's the very definition of sexist.
And racist. It's the same thing with race. Yep. To go ahead and take a character who has historically always been, say, white, and then recast them as a person of color. It's basically just trying to, instead of creating something new that respects the traditions and the culture of people of color, they're basically doing cultural appropriation. But as long as it's white culture, it's perfectly fine. You know, because white culture is a devil culture. It's the patriarchy, toxic, racist, sexist. So it's payback to the man, essentially.
And that's exactly what it is. It was male appropriation. Doctor Who was punishment. And if you for all those people who are on Twitter saying, fanboy tears, that is some simple-minded shit. Sorry, but you're simple. You're basic, and Twitter's probably a good home for you.
Yes.
Cold Fusion Waffles, $2. Hail the Inquisition XVS. Thank you. JPRPH1, $4.99. Hail Gary. Hail Doomcock. What was the collaboration this weekend with Nerderotic and Egotastic Fun Time? He interviewed me for the podcast, which will be on his channel soon. We talked about Orville and Star Trek, had a very good conversation. Lasted a couple hours. It was fun. Chris Persia, Canadian, $5. IMDb has listed that all 10 episodes will drop December 13th and have included the name of the season finale of the Exozone. IMDb can be edited by other people, so I mean, IMDb. Listen, they used to write multiple articles on Winter is Coming, the Game of Thrones website, based on IMDb posts that people were posting. So, I mean, that's probably a very good sign, Chris, but I'm hoping they change their minds. I do.
Me too.
Silhouetted Animator for $5. Looking forward to She-Venom and Venom, aka Venom 2 Sarcasm. Yeah, they did She-Venom in the first one already. Yeah.
Oh, geez.
Yeah. Down Forward Punch for $5. Now a word from our sponsor, Sweaty Balls. Pete's Sweaty Balls. Why, thank you. Mexican Iron Man. Hail, my Cardinals. Hail, Lord DVD. Hail, Emperor Gary. My thanks to the two of you for getting me over a tough weekend. Your loyal spy is rejuvenated and recharged, ready for a covert mission as may be assigned. Team missions as may be assigned. Yes. Team respect / reject.
Thank you, my friend. Appreciate that very much.
We'll need you to go back to Galaxy's Edge when that ride goes up, because I don't know if I'll be able to get down there or not.
Right.
Yeah. Hiroshi Score for 50 Mexican dollars. Greetings, my Lord Harvey. I have a question. How many universes have you destroyed before, and why?
I can't count that high, and for laughs, it's just what I do. You might as well ask a a frog why he jumps or the sun why it shines. It's just it's the way it is. That's my nature. It's like Galactus. He eats planets. Piker, amateur. I destroy entire realities, entire dimensions, and yours is next. So there you go. Don't mean to be threatening or rude, but yeah, I ain't leaving. I ain't leaving until I get a job well done. So it's coming. Back to you, Chet.
Thanks, Harvey.
Chet, TM. Bionic Belly Buttons here for $5. Please do Bob Ross Doomcock and ASMR Gary one more time. You guys are hilarious. Hail the Inquisition chat and wrenches. Well, hail the wrenches for one in the chat. Thank you all.
Hail.
We can't do more ASMR. You'll have to rewind. A Bionic Belly Button. I am working on an ASMR video for Nerdrotic Live. I'm reading a chapter from A Song of Ice and Fire in ASMR voice. It started out as kind of a gag, as a dare from Patreon, and it's turned into a video that will be done. And I had to pick the most horrific chapter from A Song of Ice and Fire to try to read an ASMR voice. So, yeah, you'll have to wait for that, though. Loquacious, but thank you for the $5. Maybe if I could come up with a good quote to do before we go, a good horrific quote to do in ASMR voice. Loquacious Primate.
I can go ahead and now this dedication goes out to Bionic Belly Button out in the audience. I know she's listening, and I just want to say that wherever you go, there you are, and the same moon that you look at, I also see. And now we're going to play some Bartok, Opus 3.
Well done.
Thank you.
Now, next to the super chat. Sorry, I got lost there.
I hypnotized him. I put him under with my dulcet tones. It's like, and Gary is falling asleep now.
I am so far from sleep. Thanks. Loquacious Primate for $5. Walter Mosley could have used that experience he was retelling as grounds for the drumhead of STD. Now we will never have it. What a shame.
Damn. Bloody hell.
Missed opportunity. Calm Gary's voice sounds like Deadpool. It does. Neon visual for £2. I don't mean to. I have to drink my cane sugar hippie blue sky fucking root beer that my wife got for me from, I think, Whole Foods. Whole Foods is as corporate as it gets around here. Okay. I mean, I think we have a Lucky somewhere, but yeah, it's just the way it is. DGM Voices for $5. Hail Doomcock and Gary. I'll take 45 minutes of weird Voyager Paris Janeway space salamander mating over 1 minute of STD any day. Yes. Damn straight.
Absolutely. They don't have an idiot-free moment in Star Trek Discovery. Not 1 minute passes by without having to pause and bitch. That's just the way it is.
And that is just the way it is. Jesse L for $1.99. Great show, gentlemen. Thank you very much, Jesse. I really appreciate it. Kilroy was here for $5. I said the same prediction that DC just said about Picard dying and then naming the ship Picard 2 months ago in the CMC STP trailer reaction video. Who's CMC? Who's CMC?
CMC?
Who's CMC? Kilroy, you cheating on us, man? What's up? What's up?
Yeah.
Where are you going?
Caca Macarena creep. I hate that YouTuber.
Caca Macarena. Hey, Caca Macarena. King Arcuous for $2. F Brady. Hail Doomcock.
Thank you. And fuck the coach too. I always call him Uncle fucking Charlie because he looks like Uncle Charlie on My Three Sons. I know he's like a big deal, but I don't like him either. So there.
Southeastern Kaiju for $2. Hail the Inquisition. Thank you very much. Hail the Inquisition. Smokescreen for $9.99. Glad to catch part of a Nerdrotic stream. Good stuff, gentlemen. Thank you very much. I greatly appreciate it. Emery Kalam for $2. REEEEan trilogy subverts expectations. Zero movies. That would be great. That would be fantastic. What do you guys think of the 1981 flick Dragon Slayer? Dragon Slayer. I liked it.
Yeah, I mean, it was Vermithrax, the dragon. I thought that the Dragon Slayer flick was okay, but I thought that the part with the actual dragon was fantastic. So my feeling of the movie was kind of boring and meh, but the dragon effect itself was spectacular and unparalleled until modern times. I thought that dragon was so realistic and beautiful. It blew me away.
Yeah. Thanks. My God, I thought it was Nurkish for a second. I'm like Von Doofus for $1.99. It's like Nurkish's old that's his old avatar from back in the day. JC Shaggy for $5. Thank you and hail. I love the Inquisition. I work nights and it's great hearing you guys own it. Have a great night. Well, thank you very much. Yes. Thank you. DC, they have cage communicator props on Etsy. It's a little pricey, says Dunning Kruger for $5.
On Etsy, huh?
On Etsy.
Yeah. Shit. Well, I don't know how much they are. I'll look around.
Dave Bob, $2. Roundhead will get to write a holiday special. I don't think he'll even get to do that.
No, he's a piece of shit.
I mean, you think something would be in development by now, but then they put it off. They put it off again. They're going to do they said they're going to do the Game of Thrones one first, and it turns out these guys aren't even doing a trilogy. So I still have this bad feeling they're going to be working together. That's what I feel. I feel they're going to actually work on a trilogy together. Now, I know there's been reports that they work together, but they're just trying to make sure they don't step on each other's toes. But I think they're genuinely, it'd be terrible. It'd be so awful. Psycho Dwarf 9 for $5. Sorry, I'm late. Friend having a meltdown. DC, check my message, please.
I will do so. Tomorrow, I'm going to be doing our appearance on tomorrow and Tuesday. I'm going to be doing our Discord for patreon.com and subscribestar.com. And so I will also be catching up on correspondence over there. So thank you guys for that.
Thank you. Yes. Michael Maloney for $5. Coming soon, Jojo Rabbit, the heartwarming story of an aspiring Hitler youth and his imaginary friend Adolf Hitler. Is that no, that's actually like a movie, right? Isn't it
what's it called?
It's Jojo Rabbit. Hang on. That's
Jojo Rabbit. Isn't that Woke Titties fucking movie?
Yeah, it's Woke Titties movie.
Yeah, well, I've driven it out of my mind. I'm not going to go see that garbage. Jesus.
He's going to ruin our mythos in a minute, baby. And God damn, I'm sorry. I'm a little over Nazis right now, although Hollywood really wants them to exist for some reason. The Kelvington for $2. Love the Inquisition, and we love you, the Kelvington. Thank you very much. Fixie Clary for $5. He ripped that half the people thing from Matt Groening. He said if half the people who watch his show love it and half get pissed, he did it right. And he ripped that off from Fixie Clary says he ripped that off from Simpsons Matt Groening. He probably did. Listen, the guy's like, he has zero style. He has zero originality. I don't know where all this, I don't see the talent. Maybe, it's just me. I mean, nothing. He has no charisma. He just sounds annoying.
Yep.
Typo negative for $4.99. Even saw the lights of the Goodyear blimp and it read Doomcock's a pimp. Hail the Inquisition.
Thank you. Well, that's cheering me up.
You want to crowdfund something? You get the blimp to say that. That's right on.
I love it.
Tyrone Beard for Australian $2. Ruin Johnson is writing his own obituary. Great. Yes. Scaro Trek for $2. Doesn't Star Trek V seem like a masterpiece now? Yes, it does.
It always was. I don't understand the negativity towards, Star Trek 5. It's a great movie. It really is.
I've always liked it. It's not my favorite one, but I like it.
I do. I really do like it. So,
for one thing, I liked it because it was in Yosemite. Yosemite is like one of my favorite places on the planet. So them being in Yosemite was cool. I like that a lot. Although I don't go back there and it's too crowded now, but back in the 80s,
also, I mean,
cool.
You don't want to be missing 411.
No, God, no. And that's like the one place that's like the worst.
Yeah. So,
that's for sure. Captain Jethro for $1.99. Hail Star Trek Continues and the Orville. Yes, definitely Hail Star Trek Continues and the Orville. Crap. Okay. How am I supposed to say that? God dang, crazy. Okay, I got it. Crazy Pineapple. I just can't read. For $10. Hail Gary, hail Doomcock. The days of creative bankruptcy and fake morality must end. We will all celebrate when woke is put to bed and in the trash pile of history. Yes, and it's gonna happen. It's gonna happen. It's gonna take time though. You're gonna have to be patient. I mean, we're just making some headway now. And it's been going on for some, if you've been reading comics, it's been going on for years. And listen, a lot of the comic YouTubers have dipped out.
Mm-hmm.
They either got on board with the evolution of Comicsgate or they just dipped out. They're like, I can't do this anymore. So we've lost a lot of them. It's going to be a long, arduous battle. And you just got to kind of stick with it. Again, long, arduous battles are not won easily. And we don't know if we're going to win. I mean, that's the thing. We fight, but we don't know. We could totally lose.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean I'm going to stop. When things get a little hot, I'm not going to stop. And that's the thing is you got to be genuinely in, and there's no doubt like Doomcock's heart's in this, my heart's in this. Again, there's doubters within the Phantom Menace there, and there should be. You always have to question. We can't have everybody having the same opinion. That's fine. But yeah.
But ours happens to be correct.
Yep. Exactly. Oh, of course. I keep getting these damn notifications, man. I got to turn those off.
Oh yeah,
crackling. I know. I got this new computer and I forgot to turn them off, so I got this stupid website.
Oh, okay, I see.
God damn, it's freaking bleeding cool too. What a place what a trash website that is. Goddamn trash. Doomcock, what's the best way to develop a storyline? I could do a short stories, but the novels I overthink it and psych myself out. Should you start with simple plot and then flesh it out? Ask Cracklin for $9.99.
Well, I mean, everyone has their own method of working. I like to note down scenes and characters and moments, lines even that I like, and then I keep them on cards and I add to the deck, and then I structure them accordingly. So that's a good way to proceed for me. But you may like to linearly outline things. It's really, there's no one way to do it.
And Psycho Dwarf 9 for $5. Michael D. Mercurio. I have one torpedo and two main engines. D. Mercurio. Okay, is that like a line? I'm like missing that one here, and now I'm gonna have to see what that is.
I've got what?
I've got one torpedo and two main engines. Don't know what that's from at all.
I don't know what that's from either. It sounds like my response is, well, I've got a lovely bunch of coconuts. Here they are standing in a row. I don't know what else to say.
Michael DeCure torpedo voyage of what? I see the quote. It's from a book. Yeah. Okay. It's Attack of the Sea Wolf. An unstoppable sub on an impossible mission. Okay.
Huh.
There you go. Never heard of
Swell.
it. Yeah. Thank you, Psychodorf. Full of information.
Yes.
Silhouetted animated for $5. The Soska sisters wanted to make the Black Widow film as her taking down the P to the E to the D to the O ring in Hollywood, but Hollywood would never allow that, sadly. That would be amazing. Honestly, it would be great.
I don't understand what
that. The P to, I don't want to say it. The people who abuse children in Hollywood. Would take away that ring.
Yeah,
that would be. I'd basically her versus Jimmy Savile. So we'll just say that.
Actually, that ring should be the proverbial burning ring of fire. That would be perfect.
That would be. Ruin Johnson is I just jumped on me. Hang on just a second, folks. Hail Gary, the days of Crazy Pineapple. Hail Gary, hail Doomcock. The days of creative bankruptcy and fake morality must end. We will all celebrate when woke is put to bed on this trash pile of history, which I said before, but I need to get caught up. Tinfoil hat time. By the way, thanks again, Cracklin and Crazy Pineapple. Tinfoil hat time. All of these purchases by Disney, ABC, ESPN, Marvel, Lucas, etc., is so they can spread the SJW BS and be able to funnel money behind it. Well, yeah. Also, they feel more emboldened to do that because they own so much. They have less competition, so they can start experimenting and flat out. That's what they did with Star Wars. They could have remember what you said about Star Trek? They could have just done a basic garden variety Star Trek. They could have done the same thing to Star Wars. They could have just adapted something from the EU verbatim, and it would have made shitloads of money, and it wouldn't have alienated pretty much anybody.
Right. And I mean, people who care about quality would have complained about it, but we still would have watched hoping that it would get better because mediocrity can get better. Hell, the Next Generation did. The Next Generation first season was just mediocre as hell with a few like bright spots, but it was not great. And then second season really it started to take off and it started to gel. And we kept watching. I mean, we kept complaining, but we kept watching because we hoped it wasn't that far off base, you know? And it could improve. This shit can't. It's done. It's garbage. Everything these people are doing is trash. So mediocrity would have been welcome. It would have been welcome comparatively. I think it would have had a path forward from mediocrity that you do not have for the atrocity that is Star Trek Discovery.
And that's the thing. The key word there is mediocrity. Everybody loves to say every Star Trek series has a bad first season. No. They're not bad. They're not fucking bad. Star Trek Discovery is bad. Yeah, you're right. They're just not. They're not great. They're okay. I mean, I like Star Trek, The Next Generation season 1. I enjoy it. I watch it all the time.
It's got problems,
but it's got problems. But all Star Trek has problems. Nothing. The original series is close to. Well, the first couple seasons are close to perfection for me.
Yeah, for me, that's what I was going to say. Is the first season of Star Trek was brilliant. I mean, it did not need to improve. It was fucking great already. So that's a lie. I mean, you can say that about Next Generation. You can say that about Deep Space Nine, maybe. I don't know about Voyager. Voyager remained pretty milquetoast throughout the whole thing. And Enterprise, you could say that because it started out awful. I mean, it's one of the worst pilots of Star Trek ever. When, you start out with some goddamn Klingon running through a cornfield in Iowa or something, or Nebraska, and they take him home to the Klingon Empire. Really? That's how you're going to start out. So those Vulcans have been all over space already. We're boldly going where Vulcans have gone before. And in the first episode, all the mystery and interest is gone because we go straight to the fucking Klingon Empire on episode 1. So once you've gone straight to the Klingon Empire, you can go anywhere. There's no mystery anymore. There's no excitement in space. It's just same old shit. We're ferrying ferries. We're like the Pony Express of space. Great.
Yep.
Wonderful.
So Psychodorf, it's
that was a bad idea.
Bullshit fucking narrative that they keep pulling out there because they don't watch Star Trek. None of these fools.
No.
They've probably watched some episodes here and episodes there, but when you and I say watch Star Trek, minimum every single episode of every single season, at least once, all the way through, all of them.
Yeah. Absolutely. And I've watched so much TOS, I've got whole scenes memorized, all of them, you know.
Yeah. I can't say that, but I could say that about Doctor Who.
Right.
Some Doctor Who, not all Doctor, but
well, there's a lot.
so much. There's so much. Silent Poet 75 says preach Doomcock for $2. Yes.
Thank you, sir. I try.
Psycho Dwarf 9 for $2 says Holdo was lifted from the submarine. So the hyperspace thing was lifted from that book. Okay. Well, you should have, sorry, Psycho Dwarf, you could have put that all in one super chat, so you didn't have to do two. Sorry. I wasn't understanding, but you know what? I really need to start paying attention to the times. The timestamps right there on the super chat, like when they're stated. And I'm just going off what you guys say. Sorry. Mazamonte for £5. Hi, Mazamonte. Hail G and D. First saw Star Trek in black and white, and oh, the joy when I saw my first color episode. She spells it COLOUR, color.
Ooh, beautiful. I love that.
Yes. Love Star Trek and Star Wars. Breaks my heart watching them destroy what I love. Why? They thought they could get to you through your favorite thing. And boy, were they wrong.
Yeah.
Jeff McKelvey for $10 on eBay. John Paul Trek 2012 sells the Star Trek cage communicator, but it's pricey. Great quality though. I'm still completing your guys' Exozone themed gifts. Ooh, it'll be in the mail next week. Thank you, Jeff. It'll be in the mail next week. Thank you.
Oh, that's wonderful.
Thank you for that. That's brilliant. We got to get Jeff a shout out. Oh, I got to do those shout outs before we go too. Ruin of House Roundhead for $4.99. Gary, what days are you attending New York Comic Con? I have a badge for Thursday, October 3rd. I'm waiting for the list for Friday, October 4th. I'm getting there Wednesday. And I'm going Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and I'm leaving Sunday. I'm not going to stay Sunday. I got to get home. We got Exozone and freaking Batwoman and and Mr. Robot. I got a lot of stuff going on Sunday, so I'm going to try to get the hell out of there early in the morning, fly across country, and get to work. But yeah, I'll be there the day before. And I haven't been to New York as an older adult. I haven't been there in 2 decades. Don't know my way around. Don't know where I'm going. Don't know how I'm going to get there, but I'll figure it out. I went to London for the first time and had the tube system figured out in a couple hours completely. So I can, I like to explore. And there's no neighborhoods that scare me in New York. So I've been to worse places than any of those neighborhoods can deliver. Dragon Volder X for $2 says, boycott the Joker. They canceled my scene. You were in it?
Uh-oh.
Well, then I'm going to boycott it, Dragon, just for that. Taker 610 $5. I ordered the Expanse season 4 on Amazon Prime and chose 2-day shipping. Still haven't gotten it. That was a year and a half ago. Well, because season 4 isn't out yet.
No, it's not. You can't get it yet.
Can't get it yet.
Jeez, if he had it, I'd be like, holy shit, a scoop.
Yeah, if you want season 3, you can get that, but season 4 is not out yet. That comes out on December 13th. Yeah. Jim Bilodeau for Canadian $5. Have you seen Icebox's Starship Regulars? I don't know what Icebox is. You think it's where the steal ST Lower Decks? It's where they steal Star Trek Lower Decks. Lower Decks is stolen from Rick and Morty. Again, Doomcock, a great example of lack of originality. These freaking dumbasses think Star Trek and Rick and Morty go together.
Yeah.
I mean, and then they pull one writer from Dan Harmon's writing room, which is pretty much Dan Harmon and a bunch of guys doing what Dan Harmon wants, and think they can create the same thing to pull in what audience? What fucking audience is the Rick and Morty audience is gonna watch Star Trek? Are you kidding me?
Yeah. I mean, that's insane. If they're watching Rick and Morty, they're probably already aware of Star Trek. So I mean, you're not going to bring in any new people. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
It's not gonna broaden or surprise anyone. Yeah, I mean, these people just have no faith in Star Trek fans. They do not believe in the fandom. They don't care about us. They don't treasure us. They're always looking for somebody else. You know, it's like taking a girl to a dance and you're always like looking around at the dance, you know, around the dance floor, looking for anyone else other than the one you brought. And that's what they're doing. They just do not have any regard or affection for us whatsoever.
Alex Kurtzman secretly hates JJ. He must secretly hate him. He's
You think so?
Oh God, yes. They probably worked together and JJ helped him out. But secretly Kurtzman's been resentful and wants what JJ wants. I mean, not that I love JJ, but I'm saying Kurtzman's like a worse person. I bet you that's, and he's like jealous and envious. And he's like, God, I wish I had Star Wars. And he turned it down for DC and I'm stuck with Star Trek, you know, and then he had Spider-Man and probably thought like, I got one on JJ. And then he fucked it up like a moron because he has no talent. And the thing is, people are going to eventually figure it out that Alex Kurtzman has no talent. He can put together TV shows. I know there was somebody out there that was arguing that he's successful he put together a cookie cutter procedural cop show that was based on a cookie cutter procedural Hawaii 5-0.
Right.
And his big claim to fame was he redid the most basic level garden variety Karen wants to see the manager shit ever and did it in a way that was acceptable to the very easy to please basic CBS 65-year-old viewing audience. They grabbed a couple people for Battlestar Galactica. By the way, that show had its own problems behind the scenes as well, especially with their Asian actors. Go look it up.
Oh, right.
Yeah. So this guy he put together the Ichabod Crane show, the Headless Horseman show,
Sleepy
Hollow, which had like an interesting enough first season. Then we realized it was going nowhere and they didn't expect it to go anywhere. And it was turned into a stupid show. He's done nothing. So he's super jealous of JJ's lack of talent because he knows that JJ doesn't have any talent either, but he's like, God, that guy's so much better at bullshitting than I am though. See, that's the thing. And JJ, I don't like him, but there's less turmoil on his sets or people are more afraid of him. I don't know what the difference will be than Kurtzman sets, which have turmoil everywhere. So yeah.
You gotta, I mean, I'm sure he does. I'm sure that they, you know, even friends in Hollywood, you know, the Schadenfreude, when they fail, I mean, there's a lot of backstabbing and skullduggery. I mean, that's what harkens back to what I was saying about the writer's room. You know, if you actually believe that it's a free zone for expression and sharing ideas, then you don't really understand what the hell's going on in the writer's room. It's like a cutthroat fucking, Wild Kingdom, Animal Planet kind of survival arena where, you know, your ideas are vying with others' ideas for the best ideas. And if you think that's wrong, then you're probably missing out on the dynamics.
Well, and God, you could see that's why these showrunners want to be showrunners because they get fucking worshipped like deities. We saw it in the Game of Thrones documentary when remember Dan and Dave are here. Oh my God, Dan and Dave are here. I mean, like Jesus Christ, people.
Dan and Dave suck.
Have some dignity. Fucking, have some, confidence. It's okay to be excited that they're there to see your work, but they hired you to do a job. Of course they're going to check up on your shit. And they're like, oh, they noticed me. They noticed me. And it's like, whoa. Oh.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
It's yeah.
Thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
I
And
felt
especially they're aware the cameras are going. We don't know what their reaction would be. I mean, they might have been even putting it on for the cameras. You know what I mean?
maybe you never
Hell,
know.
they may have been directed to do that.
I assume everything's bullshit. So
yeah.
I mean, after working a little bit in reality TV, everything's bullshit.
Yeah. Pretty much.
I mean, that's I know. So in other news, yeah, water's wet. So shouting out my book, The Maiden's War, on Amazon, says Armchair Warlord. You may do that. Check it out. It's on Amazon. But the author's name is not Armchair Warlord.
No,
but it's called The Maiden's War. Check it out on Amazon. Hardwick Benthrow for $2. Google Warner Media unveils broad diversity.
what?
Are you calling diversity abroad?
Oh! I called that broad diverse.
Diverse.
Yeah, because she'll go down with anyone. Hey, oh!
Warner. Oh yeah,
went up the hill. Oh, little Andrew Dice Clay.
Love him.
He was funny.
I saw Fort Fairlane 100 and something times though, because I was a projectionist in the theater when that movie ran.
Oh my God!
I wanted to kill him by the time it was over. I wanted to hunt him down and kill him. But what was worse is I saw. Oh my God! I'm blanking on the name now.
From your mind, Trauma.
It was Trauma because it was the I'll think of it in a second. Hang on. Warner Media unveils broad diversity and inclusion policy as Michael B. Jordan's Just Mercy begins production. Warner Media aims to make a statement for the entertainment industry by unveiling broad diversity and inclusion policy to be implemented across all productions that hail from Warner Brothers, HBO, and Turner. What a coincidence. This is right when J.J. Abrams
read my mind. Yes. It is so funny that Jar Jar Abrams, whose wife started all this bullshit, pound me too garbage, is now gone over to Warner's with a $500 million development deal over at Warner's, and they've issued this policy. Just the cinematic antichrist doing his fucking job, moving through Hollywood and destroying everything good and decent in fucking Hollywood. Remaining is now under the destructive gaze and machinations of the loathsome cinematic antichrist Jar Jar Abrams. That's basically what's going on. That is no coincidence, Gary.
No, it's no coincidence. Thanks for the super chat. Thing is TLDR. But I'll go over it and maybe I'll put it in a video or something. But I'm going to bookmark that bad boy right there. Thank you very much. That is something for the future. So is The Accused. Jodie Foster, The Accused, was on a loop in this theater. So I got to watch that over and over and over again. And just like, I have too many bad jokes that I can't tell on this program that I said after watching it for like the 100th time.
Oh my God.
They were rich. They could get me banned from YouTube, but man, I had some very filthy things to say after that. I was 19. Come on. It was 100 years ago. Thanks, Hardwick Bentho, I think, for $2. Hail, Gary and Doomcock. RT has been valuable in at least one way by showing unintentionally the extreme bias of critics and how far they are from actual fans. Steve O, you are like Nerdstradamus because you just predicted kind of what I've been working on for the last couple days. So yeah, you'll see that Monday morning. Avatars for $2. Only the Ferengi and Tribbles can save STD now. LOL.
Yeah, Tribble was in STD already, and it didn't help. So
it didn't help. Yeah. Jibba2 for $20. Chargers suck. Eagles rule. Must do fantasy again. Let me know when you're in LA again, bro. Got lots of info on Star Trek. I've worked with Picard's pilot director a ton of times. Doug. Doug, email me.
Yeah, email me too. Damn it, I want to know.
Yep. Email me. I will be down in the Southern California area very soon. Very, very soon. So, and the Chargers do suck now. I'm sorry you like the I guess, you know, Jesse likes the Eagles, Jesse Milestone, so she'll be happy to hear about that. Ryu, and thanks again for the $20. Thank you, Jibbitu. And yes, we must do the LA thing. I got some friends down there, so yeah. Ryu Kiruto is it Ryu Kiruto for $4.99. Irony: Star Trek Discovery shortened in STD and is just as bad as an actual STD. Keep up the good works. Yes, it is. And we are the fanicillin. We are the fanicillin for STD. Michael Maloney for $2. Nice horns, Buck. That's all he says for $2.
Yeah.
Apocrypha for $3.99. Here's some more money for a ticket to see Cats, which that's what I'm doing. So I'm doing a meetup here, and whoever is in the Bay Area and wants to go see the Rise of Soy Walker, we're all going to buy tickets to Cats, and we're going to go see the Rise of Soy Walker. So we're going to support another bad movie. Did you see that trailer yet?
No, I haven't seen it. I have not seen it.
Oh man, it's bad.
It sounds awful.
It's freaking awful. Okay. We could go for a few more minutes, and I can get most of these done. Whatever I don't get done, I apologize. It'll be on the Nooner tomorrow, which will be at, I believe, 1:30 p.m. tomorrow, because I've got to get the video out. But let's see how we can do in the next 5 minutes. We might be able to. I don't know. Adam W for $2. They are the istophobes. It's yes. Okay. So he says they are the istophobes. It's projection. It really is. And I think Walter Mosley getting fired proves that to me.
Right.
Or not walking. They would have fired his ass anyway. They would have fired his ass. And that's why he walked. He even said in his thing, I would have gotten fired.
Eventually, all the spies would have reported him, and he was already under target now. So he knew the writing was on the wall.
I haven't seen Captain Marvel, Endgame, or STD. If I was a cat, curiosity wouldn't kill me. I think I'm better off without ever seeing them. Glizner for $10. You are. You watch a live stream on YouTube. Go support a YouTuber. I mean, that's it. Oh man, I don't have my other computer. Hang on.
Other computer.
Yeah, my other computer has all my links, and this is my new one. And I'm looking for my my Fandom Menace book links and stuff. And ooh, that's a nasty article about that. I didn't see that. I'll have to look for that later. Okay, we're gonna have to go. $50. Jay Bird third for $50. I'd probably disagree with Mosley on many things, but I think his op-ed was great. It's a reminder that totalitarianism is not exclusive to the left or the right. It can arise from either side. Right now, it's the SJW left. You are absolutely right. Jay Bird third for $50. That's yes. And that's why I thought what he wrote was, I loved what he wrote, to be honest with you. I loved it.
Yeah.
He's obviously a writer. He was obviously pissed. And isn't it great that when you're pissed, you're like, New York Times, can I write an op-ed? Sure. Okay.
Well, yeah, that, contacts have their privileges.
They
right?
certainly do.
They absolutely do. I'd be making a YouTube video. He's in the New York Times. Well, there you go.
There you go. And your YouTube video is probably going to get seen by more people than the New York Times nowadays. So,
who knows?
Who knows? We all watch Buck Rogers to see Wilma, says Captain Jethro for $1.99.
Damn right. She was so hot. God, she was hot.
Hail Lord Harvey, I bring you fire, says Sam Whiskey for $1.99.
I thank you. I am the god of hellfire, and I bring you fire. I'll teach you to learn. Back to you. Sorry.
No, it's okay. I'm trying to pull up this. I should have had this damn thing ready. Steven, I'll plug it tomorrow. I can't find it now, but I'm gonna plug Ichibaka's book real quick. Ichibaka is a great source of information for the fandom menace, so I want to support him as much as I can. He's doing
Absolutely.
a book. He has a blog called Star Wars is Dumb, and it is very dumb. And Ichibaka, has sent me stuff. He's sent us all stuff. He's a good source, and we need to support him as much as possible. So please check out his what he's doing. He's trying to get he's collecting all of his blog posts, and he's putting them in a single narrative, and it's a good idea. I've already donated $100 myself. And his goal is 30,000. He is only at 2%. So we really need to pump this up. We need to help him out because honestly, he has gotten a lot of clicks for a lot of YouTubers. So that is Ichibaka's link right there. Please, if you can, whatever you can, a couple bucks here, a couple of bucks there. And I'll keep plugging it because again, he's been really good to me. I like what he writes. He's really clever dude. And very insightful and can find stuff out of nowhere. Like he pulls stuff out of nowhere. So props to Itchy, man. Steve, I'll get you on the next live stream, the Fandom Menace book. There's a Fandom Menace book that's got an Indiegogo too that I need to plug, and I can't find the link right now. So I'm sorry. But I did it last Friday. So I'll do it again on Monday. They are okay. Scott Williams, Star Trek was killed by Star Trek Discovery, while Star Wars was killed by a rodent infestation. Thanks for $5. John Maciel for $2. Hashtag free Harvey Cthulhu TM. I don't know.
I think that's a bad idea, but thank you for the sentiment. I appreciate that.
I think it's a great sentiment.
Well, you would.
The Rookie Critic for $5. I'd like to thank you both for helping me reach monetization. Hey, you made it.
Yes, he did.
Right on.
Congratulations, Rookie Critic. That's great.
That's brilliant. All right, man. Keep it going. Content. Dark Knight of Thrones for $2. Gary and Doomcock, my favorite live team. Well, thank you. Thank you very much.
Sure.
I'm surprised that Mrs. Redstone hasn't stepped in because the recent incident would place a black eye on CBS. Rogue FFXI for $5. I don't know. Maybe they did. I think what I've heard is there's still some chaos going on. There's transition and not a lot of nothing's complete yet. By the way, the merger is not complete yet. So we got to wait for that to happen.
Right.
But right now everything's on hold. They can't mess with anything. And Alex Kurtzman and Michelle Paradise and Star Trek Discovery in particular are safe because we are in the middle of the streaming wars. And right now, I'll bet, we don't know. We're going into unknown country, an undiscovered country right now, which is the streaming wars. But CBS doesn't stand a goddamn chance. So I'm not worried about it. It sucks for Star Trek, though. It does.
Yeah, we're not going to get any improvement. It's just dead. They're just beating a dead Mugatu. That's all it is.
As shitty as Doctor Who is, Doctor Who has Big Finish. Doctor Who has multiple comics being produced. Doctor Who is producing stuff based on all their old shit. They consistently produce the magazine. They're making toys for Big Finish right now. Why? Because they're losing their ass on their main product. So they know where to lean into and keep older fans happy. And it's not really working that much. A lot of older fans are like swearing off Big Finish too. And actually I buy it off eBay. I don't buy it directly from Big Finish. So but at least there's audio dramas and stuff. Where in the hell are the Star Trek audio drama? Like, what are they doing? They're so stupid. Like, Star Trek fans would listen to audio dramas. They would they're just dumb. So it's obvious that this is disposable. And when they don't need Star Trek anymore, it will be gone. Gone.
Yep. They have no love for it.
Nope. When will be the tardigrade VG? When will the tardigrade VG be released? What is it about? A video game. I find it hard to believe it was a ripoff. Could you guys interview Anas Abdeen in here? You find it hard to believe how 75. What's a UYU? What's a UYU, Doomcock?
UYU? I don't know.
I don't either. It is
Ukrainian.
It must be. You must not know any details then, because if you find it hard to believe, then you don't know the details. I have multiple videos. As a matter of fact, my last video, if you go on my page, Hugo, go on my front page, go down about 4 playlists. You'll see a Star Trek playlist. My last Star Trek video was a Anas Abdeen lawsuit timeline, and it explains everything. And you won't find it hard to believe after you watch that video. Silhouetted Animator for $5. Doomcock's got an interview with him too, as well, on his channel. Silhouetted Animator for $5. The U.S. animation industry is pretty crap right now too. Well, they keep making Steven Universe and freaking She-Ra and that like dumb Cal Arts, stupid cartoon art. Who wants to Nobody likes that. It's ugly art. It's ugly art. It's art for art school kids. It's like, who likes that shit? Honestly, I listen, I know people liked Adventure Time. I hated the art. I was like, why did
I've not really gotten into it, and I thought the art was not particularly engaging personally.
Everything is aping off that SJW Tumblerista cringe fest Steven Universe. Nothing already. Yeah. And I mean, like, dude, that was popular a couple of years ago. It's like, we're well past that. And yeah, now they're aping off of fucking Rick and Morty. I mean, like, and honestly, I think it's past its prime. Let's just say, I'm sure there's still fans over there, but although I think he got signed for like 75 more seasons, so who knows? What do I know?
Yeah, I don't know. I haven't really followed it too well. I've seen a few. I like him fine, but it hasn't really compelled me. I don't know.
It's funny in moments, and it's not anything I'm going to spend a bunch of time watching. But go for it if you want it. That's okay. Venture Brothers
kicks ass.
Yeah. Captain Spire, $10. CBS will never know the amazing door they would open, contacting Anas and saying, hey, we have this idea for Star Trek show. Would you like to use, we'd like to use your idea. Fans collaborating and guiding new franchises. Yeah. Reaching out to them. I don't think it would have been expensive. I don't think it would have been hard. But, the thing that stops anything good from happening in Hollywood, believe it or not, it's not agenda. It's not money. It's ego. It's ego.
Mm-hmm.
Everything is ego in that town. And
I just don't think they can stand to have an actual fan on the writing staff, because the fan knows so much more than the showrunner or anyone else in the room, that they hate that. They hate having their authority subverted like that they even acknowledge that a subordinate has more capability and understanding of the material than they do. So yeah, they can't abide it. They just can't.
Kilroy was here for $2, says CMC is the Common Man cast. Thank you for
CMC Common Man cast. That's right.
Joel Tumburo, what's up, Joel? For $2, Sharknado was better written than Star Trek Discovery. It was, and better edited. My friend worked on that. Actually, my employee, one of my third employee, went down to Hollywood, went to film school at San Francisco State, went down to Hollywood, and he made it. And now he's cutting trailers, and I'm very proud of him. It's like watching your kids grow. A lot of my ex-employees did really well, and I was their first job, which was like proud.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Brett, this will be our last super chat for the night, folks, because I'm like an hour behind and I've got to go. I have limits. I have time limits. I'm sorry. But again, 1:30 p.m. Pacific time tomorrow, Nerdrotic Nooner. We will start out right where we left off. Unfortunately, Dubcock will not be there, but he'll be there in spirit.
That's right.
Never until Star Trek Disgracery and The Last Jedi had I seen something that could so completely break a franchise. Never, not even Jurassic Park 3 or the prequels. I think it's a good place to end too, because Doomcock, no. I mean, let's be real. For me, Star Wars, there was the prequels. I was older when I saw those. I was not a kid. I was an adult. So I kind of did it for me. But I wasn't dead on Star Wars. It didn't ruin the original trilogy for me in any way, shape, or form.
I mean, I just didn't. I never made the leap between Anakin and Vader. I just didn't. Hayden Christensen was not Vader to me ever. It was just two different things that really were theoretically linked, but I didn't take it that far, but this shit is so spiritually degraded. It is so antithetical to the very lifeblood of the franchise that it is incompatible. It is like putting the wrong kind of blood in a person and having the person reject that blood, or putting in a faulty organ that is not compatible with the body in there and expecting the body to be okay. It's not. The Star Trek Discovery is antithetical to the optimism and the brilliance of Gene Roddenberry and his staff. And it cannot coexist in the body of Star Trek. It simply can't. Therefore, it is very, very evident that this is an abomination, and it should not be allowed to stand. That's basically it.
Well said. Well said. I that's the same way I felt. Like, I watched them. They said they were Star Wars, but I never really I'm like, these aren't really connected to the original trilogy. I mean, they're like fun. They're fine. And like, even then I was aware, I'm like, there's a whole generation is going to like this better than Star Wars. That was the bummer part. I'm like, because they're not going to understand. Star Wars are going to be old movies to them. And I've heard it. It's weird. It's 20 years later. I actually hear it now. And I'm like, see, that's what happens. But I mean, they weren't there to experience it. I mean, the younger Star Wars fans will never know what it was like to see that Star Destroyer for the first time in a theater and hear people gasp, because they have never, ever, ever seen anything. And I don't think a film can do that anymore.
No, it can't have the same impact, unfortunately. I mean, I think we've kind of evolved as far as we can.
I think film has gone as far as it can.
Yep. In spectacle. I think we need to get back to wowing the audiences now with great stories and memorable characters. I think that is the new frontier, which is the old frontier, looping back to when we actually cared about these characters and were riveted by the stuff that was going on screen. Instead of just disposable spectacle, having something along the lines of, Lawrence of Arabia or even, a small character drama like Who's Afraid of Virginia Woolf, for example. A great movie with Richard Burton and Elizabeth Taylor. Things that were just set in a living room. And yet what is being said and the emotions there are so riveting that you can't take your eyes off of the screen. I think that's the future.
And that we could never have a Buffy again where they, Alex Kurtzman sees developing a character as in the first episode when they show up, Tilly, she wants to be a captain. She's a little crazy. And her character does not develop at all. We see her jogging, and I mean, nothing about her character makes sense. There's no evolution or anything. We see a character like Wesley and Buffy, start out, or an angel start out as this bumbling freaking nobody, and then by the end he's like the biggest badass in the show, and he starts out as like a shamed watcher and turns his character arc is unbelievable in that it's matched. Ooh, it's hard to think of a series that has a character arc like that strong. That will never happen in Star Trek Discovery. And I don't know if it can happen now because everything is written so it's not written to watch the whole show. You're just, it's each show is written right. Well, the marketing data says that most viewers pay attention to 20 minutes of our 40-minute show or whatever max. So we just got to hit the key points like a hit song. And that's, I think there's a formula. I think they use a goddamn formula for Star Trek anyway. I mean,
Well, they're sure not holding my attention. It's I have to struggle. I have to pause it to take furious notes about everything I'm seeing and all the things that are wrong with it. So I don't know. I wouldn't be surprised. It is so soulless that it is really the equivalent of modern auto-tuned music. It really is. And I don't know that Star Trek will ever recover from that.
No. Oh God, we didn't even cover that one thing that I meant to. Well, okay, just really quick going out. Disney canceled a panel at a Comic-Con because Ian McDermott and Anakin Skywalker or Hayden Christensen were going to be there together. And they were afraid of spoilers and they threatened legal action. Now that was according to comicbook.com. I don't know if that's entirely true. A quick 2-minute take on that, Doomcock. What do you think of that?
What are you?
So Seattle, there was not Seattle in Utah. There was a Comic-Con that was the past weekend, and Ian McDermott and Hayden Christensen went to a children's hospital, and it made the news. And then they were going to go to a Comic-Con, and Disney canceled the panel, threatened legal action because they were afraid they were going to spoil the fucking movie. So they last minute canceled these people who some of them might have bought tickets, kind of like what Dan and Dave did, their punk move backing out of Comic-Con. Thing is, though, when you back out of Comic-Con, there's still a gazillion things to do. But a little con in Utah, those two guys backing out, it's like that's their big. I'm guessing
was it. Yeah.
That's it.
So wow. God. Well, I wouldn't think Hayden Christensen could spoil anything. It would have been Palpatine. Now, I think that logically implies that Palpatine appears in the movie. So that's somewhat validation for the rumors that are going around, because if Palpatine wasn't going to actually be physically filmed, if it was the whole thing, it's just a recording of him, the actor wouldn't know anything. Like it's clear that they shot that action figure or doll of Palpatine for the cover of the poster. So that's been established. Like they had a stock photo right there. So it wasn't Ian McDermott posing for it.
That means they didn't have anything
right
to shoot of him
right
for the movie.
Probably.
But this is also Anakin might be in the movie.
No,
that's what people. That's what they're getting out of this. That Disney coming in and canceling this lends credence to the rumor that Anakin will be like some kind of Force ghost in the movie, not like be in the movie, but be some kind of Force ghost.
It seems like any spoilers that those guys could give would be so minor.
I agree. Why would say? I think. Okay, so. If it's true that Disney threatened legal action over this, and again, then Disney's stupid. That's why I put Disney Star Wars Stupidity in the title. That's what I'm talking about. Like they're being stupid. They just pissed off a bunch of fans, fucked over a bunch of fans who wanted to see their characters, especially after they went to a children's hospital, and then you stop it. I mean, I don't know what the details are. Here, I'll go to comicbook.com.
For a weird little Utah con. And they made them cancel and threaten legal action. That's astonishing.
There he goes.
That's bizarre. Who did they threaten with legal action? The convention itself?
Fan X, yeah. Which I don't know if that's even possible. That's the thing. That's why I'm everything I've heard about this. But I don't like to. I like to read the articles on the Inquisition so we get a authentic reaction.
Wow.
hang on. Stop sharing. There we go. I gotta get that back up there again, and then we'll roll out. But yeah, I just saw that was in the title, so I want to cover it. Yeah. So FanX. Jesus Christ, what is going on with this thing? Hang on. There we go. Fan X is currently in full swing in Salt Lake City, and this was September 7th. And a last-minute cancellation is prompting some pretty big Star Wars rumors. According to the above video from someone in attendance, Disney canceled a panel that was set to feature Ian McDiarmid and Hayden Christensen. While Ian McDiarmid is confirmed to reprise his role as Emperor Palpatine in Rise of Skywalker, there was no confirmation of Hayden Christensen himself returning as Anakin Skywalker. The rumors that Disney threatened legal action if the convention continued with the panel out of fear of spoilers, which again, I don't know if they have any fucking power over a convention. I mean, they could certainly intimidate them, but they can't keep two people going from earning money on their own.
Right.
I mean, like,
they're under no non-disclosure agreements with Disney. They have no proprietary interest. So Disney, it sounds like it was an empty threat that just spooked these fans and made them cancel the thing, I guess. I mean, they certainly would have NDAs for any of the actors. So if they did any spoilers, it's just insane. It's very, very weird, Gary, because what they should have done is just contacted Ian McDiarmid and Hayden Christensen and said, you boys are under, NDAs. And if you spill a thing, we will sue you 10 ways to Tuesday. And that would have done the trick. Then they would have been extra careful and not gotten like all, a basking in the glow of the regard of the audience and let spill something they shouldn't. They would have put them on notice. But this was heavy-handed and ridiculous.
A guy with 20 followers said, this guy right here, Alex Wood, has 20 followers. No offense, Alex. I mean, that's awesome. He's got Gandalf in his fucking thing, so that's great. He's got good taste. The Star Wars Spotlight panel at FanX was canceled. The rumor is that Disney threatened litigation. He got 6 likes on the tweet, even though it was written in fucking comicbook.com. Oh man. Yeah, that's bullshit. I think they would have canceled it. Who knows why, but it's worse. It's worse. Why would you, why would they cancel the panel, especially when they were there for the hospital though? Something doesn't add up here. And I don't have enough time to figure it out, but I'll look into it. It's weird. It's lame. They should have just let him go. It's great that they went to the children's hospital.
Right.
And Disney should be thankful people still give a shit about your stupid movie franchise, because they shouldn't. They really shouldn't. There's been more bad than good. Sorry, but that's true.
It's ridiculous. And the idea, look, Palpatine being in this movie is a bad thing.
It's bad.
It's a terrible thing. It's just basically an admission that you have failed. Your new characters are not compelling enough to appeal to audiences. What the fuck was Snoke about? Why even bother with Snoke if you're just going to bump him off in The Last Jedi and have to then bring on an actual baddie because Kylo Ren is completely inadequate for the task? It's just an astonishing confession of your inadequacy as Star Wars creators, Disney. It's pathetic.
It's and that's pathetic is pretty much the word of the day for Star Wars, Disney Star Wars, and Kurtzman Star Trek, CBS Star Trek. What are you rewatching? Look, there's Mrs. Nerdrotic is in here. Everybody, say what's up. Say what's up. She's in the chat.
Oh, hello.
Yeah, she's in here. All right. We're gonna wrap it up there, dude. It's a weird occurrence. I will say that it's awfully odd that happened, but we'll look into it more and see what happens. But I mean, I've got 3 videos. Like I've never done this. I'm juggling 3 videos. I'm making them all at once as things come in, and I don't know what you're going to get tomorrow, but you're going to get something tomorrow morning. Cool. And then there's the nooner. And what do you got cooking, man? Let's plug your channel.
I've got my channel, Overlord, youtube.com/Overlord DVD, and also youtube.com/The Harvey Zone, which is where all the live streams go to live after they're done, and home of the Exozone as well. And like I said, I've got patreon.com/Doomcock. It's a great community, and we are actually doing some live Discord stuff together Monday and Tuesday of this week. And also subscribestar.com, same deal. So anyway, thank you guys so much for all of your support. Thank you for subscribing. And I hope those of you who haven't subscribed will go to my channel and do so. Help me to grow.
Yeah, it helps. And really, the liking and the sharing helps immensely, especially, during this weird time, which I don't know if it's ever going to change. It might when the holidays come around. Of course, they demonetize the video. They always demonetize us for some reason.
Yeah, they do. I don't know why.
Don't care. But I'm gonna and so Doomcock's channel is in the description as well. So I'm sure the mods linked it, but you can get it in the description right there. That is fixed. And yeah, and I put a bunch of links in there too, so you can check them out. So again, check the live stream schedule. Tomorrow morning, I'll be live with my patrons in the morning. Then we'll pop out a video, and there's a lot of stuff cooking in the background. But going to New York Comic-Con, so there'll probably be a meetup there at some point. And yeah, we'll keep reporting. We'll be back next Sunday on Doomcock's channel, and next Thursday, Exozone is on Doomcock's channel because I had to back out of the last one, but we'll do a makeup this Thursday on the Harvey Zone. So don't forget to subscribe to the Harvey Zone, right?
Yes, indeed.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
And don't forget to follow him on Twitter at Doomcock, and I'm at Nerderotics. So thank you, everyone, for another awesome episode of the Inquisition, the must Sunday night viewing. We will be back next week. Take care, and not all who wander are lost.